Hey, what's good with it, Black Goose TV family? We here, back at it again. Fluenceboxing in the building, double salute. We got some motherfucking things we need to talk about. But I got my guys in here today, man. He's blessing us with his presence in this rare but lovely live stream of Fluenceboxing. What's good with it, Zane? How you feeling, dog? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, man. How you feeling, bro?
Man. It's Kobe Day today. I didn't even realize.
It is Kobe Day. It is. R.I.P. to Kobe. Salute to Kobe.
His birthday was yesterday. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah. It's been what, through 2, 3? What is it? 2 years? 2 years. 2 years since his death. That's wild.
It's almost.
So I definitely. When it comes to the topics today, it's gonna they kind of be all over the place. We got some boxing we want to talk about. Let's be real, man. We've had this past weekend has been absolutely crazy when it just comes to combat sports. Period, not just boxing. We're on the slow down side of the game right now because, we have been blessed with some crazy shit when it comes to combat sports. This weekend, there's not really nothing happening when it comes to combat other than I was talking about this with Zen before we actually started the Demetrius Johnson rematch versus damn, I forgot the brother's name, but it's the one he lost to over there and won championship. He got kneed. So I'm going to try and watch that. I just don't know what time that's at, if I can catch it, but I'm going to try and do a fluence launch for that. But anyways, we're on the slower side of the game this week. That's why I kind of been on a hiatus the last couple of days. But there is some things that have came out recently in regards to Wilder that I definitely want to, get your opinion on, Zen, and kind of just go over. And also I want to talk about a little bit about Andy Ruiz. He had his open workout today, I believe. Luis Ortiz has his open workout last week for their potential fight. So I want to take a look at that, see how that's going. Zen was just telling me he's going to put some Skrilla down on Luis Ortiz. Maybe when we watch the Andy Ruiz footage, he might end up changing his mind. I don't know.
His name is Adriano Moraes.
Moraes, yes. Okay, Moraes, yes. A big boy, too. Big boy for the division. Much bigger than DJ. Remember, DJ, he had a pretty good fight with him. He ended up getting caught with an uppercut, and then remember, he got knocked out from that knee. It's different over in one championship. You can knee your opponent when your hand is on the ground as well as when your knee is down, and that's when he got him. So I don't really count that as like a bad loss for DJ. It was just like, well, shit, if anyone's in that position and nigga hit you with a knee, you probably gonna be out. So I can't wait to see that. If I can catch it, definitely we'll do a Fluence Lounge for it. But also, like I said, we're gonna talk about the Andy Ruiz open workout, see if we can maybe change Zen's mind on who's gonna win that fight between him and Luis Ortiz. If we get to it, maybe a little bit talk about that AJ meltdown because in the last weekend when we did the Fluence Lounge, we talked about the AJ loss, but we did not talk about the meltdown, what he ended up saying. So maybe I can pull up some videos on that if we get to that point. I don't know how long this joint is. The goal is to get through all of them. If anybody ends up popping up into this joint and y'all want to, present your own topics and we get off, it's all good, man. It's just all fun, all love tonight. Nothing specific, man. Boxing's on the slow side of the game, in my personal opinion, when it comes to this week. But it's going to be rocking again when it comes to next weekend, as well as just September period. We got some pretty big fights in September. So with all that being said, if y'all come up in here, man, show some love, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, man. You already know we're trying to get that 5K. Notification gang all day. And then, of course, comment on this joint. At some point, I will put the link in the chat if I feel like y'all niggas is coming through. If y'all not coming through, I'm not going to put it, but, we'll see. Anyways, with all that being said.
Isn't it crazy? Like when you in a group chat and like somebody like post something and nobody reply, and then as soon as you reply, everybody else want to start replying. I be thinking that's hilarious to me. I'm like, oh, now y'all want to reply, huh? You take this one person.
Know what to say about it. It's like I'm not really sure how to comprehend. Or either I don't know what to say about it. It's like, I don't know how interested I am. But then when you say something that's kind of controversial, you say something they disagree with or something like that, they're like, oh, I can put my opinion in because I don't agree with nothing you saying, or I agree with it, whatever the case may be. That's how I be feeling. I'm like, okay, you don't really care about the topic. But then when I put my opinion on the topic, you like either I agree or disagree. You just really want to say some shit about it. That's how I be seeing it. Which I get. I do the same thing probably if a nigga present a topic to me. It's like, I don't really care. But then you say some shit I wildly disagree with. It's like, well, hold up. I said I didn't care. But at the same time, your opinion is just invalid, my nigga. I need to go against it type shit. So I get that to an extent. But all right, with all that being said, man, we're going to get into the first topic tonight. And then, of course, Zen, if you got anything that you want to talk about, if you feel any stale moments or any pauses, you know what I'm saying, just go ahead and bring that up and we can get into it. You know what I'm saying? We don't got to necessarily stay on topic. But the first one I do want to get into, it has to do all with Deontay Wilder. And I think it's only right that we start off with Deontay Wilder because, well, he's back. He's back in full form. He took a hiatus. Deserved the hiatus. You know what I'm saying? He put his whole, his heart into the ring when it came to the Tyson Fury trilogy. A lot of people were speculating whether or not he'll come back. I was one of those guys who said, "What's the reason for him to come back unless it made sense?"
Yeah, you was down. What was in saying from the jump?
I didn't doubt it. I said, in order for Wilder to come back,
was down. You said it's over. He said, "What does he got to prove? He does not need to fight no more." I said, "Bro, he's gonna come back. He's gonna knock out whoever."
But don't you think his reason for coming back aligns with what I've been saying? I said, in order for him to come back, it has to make sense. The money has to be there and the opponents has to be there. Has the heavyweight division been any more on fire than it is now, other than when we were talking about the three-headed monster and everyone had this, we didn't know how good everyone was, but we knew they were good when it comes to Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Obviously, that's changed immensely. But I'm like, that some could argue the heavyweight division is hotter now than it was when we were like, we need to see the three-headed monsters fight each other. We need to see Tyson Fury fight Anthony Joshua, AJ fight Wilder, like like we were so focused on those three, and we were so just enamored by them. I feel like now when you look at the heavyweight division, we have so many options with fights. It's like it only makes sense for Deontay Wilder to come back. So I'm like, don't you say I kind of aligned with what I've been saying? Is I think if the heavyweight division and look how it looked now, Wilder want to be back.
I disagree. I think the Bomb Squad was always going to come back because he wants that belt, boy.
But which belt you talking about? He wants to be he wants to be unified, or he's looking for the WBC belt back. Like what specific? Be specific.
Any fight that was going to let him go for another belt, that's where he was going. You see, talking about like fight till he's 40.
Would have came back, period, because he wants to avenge his loss against Fury. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. You don't want to go out like that. That's a fucked up way to go out.
So my point, I feel like we're agreeing to not agreeing to disagree, but I feel like we're agreeing, but we're kind of like saying two different things, but we are agreeing. But what I'm saying is, like, I agree with that. He does want to avenge his loss against Tyson Fury. He does want that belt back, but I don't think he would have came back if there wasn't a path clear for him to get it. So now with AJ defending, because I feel like everything mattered around this AJ versus Usyk fight. Yes, Deontay Wilder announced his comeback before the AJ Usyk fight, but let's be real. Majority of boxing heads said Usyk is going to beat AJ the second time. And if Usyk is able to beat AJ the second time, what does that mean? The heavyweight division is wide open because most likely they're going to try and do Usyk versus Tyson Fury. Now AJ is sitting in the looms chilling. Ruiz finally was like, hey, I'll fight you, Luis Ortiz. And a lot of you guys, and we'll get into that later. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be a hell of a fight, but let's not act like Andy Ruiz was ducking that fight for a very long time. And let's not act like he got forced into it. He didn't get forced into this fight. A lot of people are overlooking this. He signed a Triller fight with Tyrone Spong. He was trying to get out of this. Luis Ortiz called him out. He said, how the fuck you going to sign that? And we already had a fight agreement. So Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz has finally happened. How long have we been speculating that? A year and a half almost? Joseph Parker versus Joe Joyce has finally happened. How long have we been speculating that? Maybe about 6 to 7 months. Right? And then we have Deontay Wilder having his return. So I'm like, the way that I see it, and then Daniel Dubois, man, he's talking about he wants to fight Dillian Wyatt or something like that. I'm like, the heavyweight division is so wide open, and the possibility of Deontay Wilder having that Tyson Fury fourth fight is a lot more feasible. It's a lot more plausible now than it was beforehand. So I think it's all strategic. That's my personal opinion. Like, I feel like we're agreeing, but we're kind of like we're seeing in two different perspectives, but we're kind of agreeing on the end goal where it's like Wilder sees, all right, here's my opportunity to get my fourth fight with Tyson Fury and also get my belt back. But if that wasn't there, he probably wouldn't have came back, or at least he would have waited until the timing was right, if it ever came, if the timing was ever right. My personal opinion. I don't know.
It's just crazy because Joshua can't beat none of these dudes, man. He can't beat Wilder, can't beat Fury. If he can't beat Usyk, he can't beat them too.
Okay, but we can also argue this as well. AJ still has clout behind him. AJ still has people that will watch him because they love him, and he also has people that will watch him because they hate him, right? So with that being the case, does he have to necessarily fight after this loss to Usyk? It's not like he has to get back in there with a somebody where it was like, oh, it's going to be a close fight. He doesn't really have to do that. AJ can take this stance of where I can wait back in the reins or in the background. I can see what's the most plausible fight for me, or what makes the most sense, what makes the most money, and I can just go after that. I'm like, it's not like AJ's in a bad spot where it's like you have to work your way back up to be looked at for a title shot. Like, you know what I'm saying? This isn't, MMA. You feel me? He's in a position where, yeah, he took the L, but in all honesty, like, if he wanted to, he could fight the Joseph Parker versus Joe Joyce winner. And honestly, if he really wanted to, he could. Yeah, I know he doesn't, but if he wanted to, he can do it Dillian White trilogy. Because I'm pretty sure Dillian White will. Wait, I'm sorry. Technically, it wouldn't be a trilogy because they fought in the Olympics, so that doesn't count. So it would technically be a second fight, but technically it's a trilogy because they fought in the Olympics. Dillian White knocked him out, and the actual pro fight, Anthony Joshua knocked him out. So he can do a trilogy with Dillian White. That's there. Say Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora, it doesn't happen. Anthony Joshua can take that fight. The thing about UK boxers, especially someone who's a draw like AJ, it's like, all right, yeah, you lost, but at the same time, because the heavyweight division is so percolating and going crazy, we can throw you in there with a guy that we're pretty sure you could beat. All the hype comes back. And now once, let's assume this is how it works. Wilder beats Helenius, Luis Ortiz beats Andy Ruiz, Joe Joyce beats Joseph Parker. Like, if that's all happens, now AJ, he beats, let's say he fights Derek Chisora before the end of the year and he beats him. You're telling me people aren't saying, I want to see AJ versus Wilder. I want to see AJ versus Joe Joyce. I want to see AJ versus Luis Ortiz. You're telling me he's not back in that conversation? So that's more so my point. Where it's like, especially the big names. You on mute.
Oh, who does he beat? He can't beat Joe Joyce. He can't beat Wilder. He can't beat Fury. He can't beat Usyk.
It's not about beating them. It's about making money.
I'm not even convinced he could beat Big Baby Miller.
I don't even want to talk about him because it's weird. The heavyweight division is so crazy now. If Big Baby Miller really stays on his path and gets himself back to where he was, he can put himself and insert himself back into the conversation. But I think as much as I love Big Baby Miller, man, I watched his last two fights. I covered. That man is lost cause. He's literally fighting just to keep food on the table and make sure shit is straight. But like championship aspirations, he may have one big payday left, and it might be against AJ because the money's there. But as soon as he takes that step up, he's not the same fighter he was. He'll get destroyed. That'll be the end of it. That's my personal opinion. So it's like, I don't. So
are you saying the PEDs really helped?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's a fraud.
No, absolutely not. Because I think a lot of people in professional sports use PEDs, especially boxing. I'm just like, nigga, your team, you wasn't spending enough money. You didn't have the right people around you when it comes to your team. If you got caught, that's on you. I'm like, nigga, PEDs and sports go together like fucking chicken and waffles, nigga. I'm like, you can't have one without the other, bro.
I can have chicken without waffles.
Yeah, it can happen. But if you want it to be elite and fling, nigga, you get the chicken and the waffles.
Would you rather have chicken and waffles or chicken with greens and mac and cheese?
It depends on what mood I'm in. If I'm a breakfast nigga, I want some breakfast. I want chicken and waffles. I don't want none of that dinner shit. I don't want that course. I'm talking about breakfast. I want the chicken. And if I come and I order chicken and waffles, and you just bring me chicken, I'm gonna be like, all right, the chicken's good, but where my waffles at? And then vice versa. You feel me? So my point, all my point is like, I'm not saying everybody's using PEDs. I'm not saying everyone's guilty, but I'm like, let's not act like we're not talking about professional sports. I'm like, we're in the day and age of 2022, my nigga. Like, PEDs is literally performance enhancing drugs, right? If I take pre-workout, that can be considered a PED. Why? That's not my natural body creating natural substances that create natural energy to allow me to go harder in the gym. I'm taking something that gives me this spark and this boost where I can wake myself up. Even if I work 12 hours, I can go crazy in the gym. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's such a broad term. So it's like, I'm not trying to defend anybody or nothing like that. But yeah, Big Baby Miller got to prove me wrong. We'll see what he looks like midsummer next year. We'll see what he looks like. Because that nigga's still in the 310s when he weighs in. So it's like, oh, God, you got to figure that out. But anyway.
It's just a shame that this man Joshua, man, he just couldn't take his L.
He did. We'll get into that. We're gonna get into the meltdown of Joshua. We're gonna get into all the extra stuff. But the first thing, I do want to pull up and we talk about is Wilder. He has some new workout footage that just came out, or some training footage, whatever the case you may want to call it. And I definitely want to pull that up, take a look at it, and see if we like what we're seeing. Now, if you remember previously, when he did move on and he decided to get a new trainer in Malik Scott, he did release things. He did release trainings. He did release, certain footage where, people were watching. It's like, oh, he's going back to the fundamentals. He's doing things we never saw him do. When we saw him in an actual fight, he was going to body, etc. I was one of the people who, had some, choice words for Malik Scott. He's still his trainer. So if there's anything that I'm skeptical about in life, is that Malik, you're a great fighter. I can't take anything away from you. Is you a great trainer? That's still up in the air for your boy. Because I feel like one of the things that could have benefited Deontay Wilder a lot is at some point in his career, I'm not saying you have to drop anybody, but adding on someone who makes you a little uncomfortable. But, you know what I'm saying? It's a double-edged sword because, like, you have the viewers, like, I'm going to stick with my original guys. I'm always going to rock with them unless they do something bad. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, apparently Mark Brennan did, and that's why I got rid of him. But unless they do something where, like, I distrust or they're disloyal, then I got to change. I got to get them out of there. But other than that, like, Deontay Wilder's one of those guys, like, this is who I came up with. You know what I'm saying? This is who got me to the point I am. Like, I'm not going to switch that out. You feel me? Malik Scott is one of those guys as well. Like, Malik Scott isn't someone new he added to his camp. He just elevated. So that's a gift and a curse in itself when you look at combat sports, where some guys don't realize sometimes you do need to add someone new in the corner, a breath of fresh air. Sometimes you need to add someone who's going to, dispute what you say, your takes. It doesn't always work. Look at what happened with AJ and Robert Garcia. That didn't work. But then you can also look at Devin Haney. His dad was his main guy. He came in and he said, no, I want to go ahead and add Ben Davison. So it just all depends on the situation, the scenario. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw this up and just see what you guys think about it. This is Deontay Wilder recently doing some mitt work with Malik Scott. I think it's about a day or so ago. My question is also too, how you guys feel about his more slim down physique? Because it definitely doesn't look like he's carrying more than maybe like 218 on his body, as in when he was fighting Tyson Fury's buck. Just something we talked about to an extent, but I'm pulling it up right here for y'all. I know Zen is a fanboy to the fullest when it comes to Deontay Wilder, so I'm very interested on his take. Because he's gonna be capping.
Why you gotta call me like you not no fanboy? Like, yo, chill out.
You know he's finna be capping. I'm playing. I'm talking shit. All right, how y'all feel about this? Let's get into it.
There's other. Oh, okay, no, I thought he had the noodles on his hands. I'm like,
nah, you see this little red thing? Nah, it's
yeah,
it do look like the noodles. All right, let's see how he's looking. This is my first time seeing this. Hold on, let me change the volume. I got it coming out of my speakers. My bad, yo. All right, I'm gonna start it over.
Shotgun. Back up to 2 jabs right here. Short.
So real quick, I'm gonna pause it right there. How do you feel from what you're saying so far? Since your guy, Zen, how you feel so far?
I don't think mitts is his problem, bro. I mean, he got a God-given strength to him. He need to work on his defense, bro. He shouldn't be even working. He should be working on throwing that and then getting his hands back to his face. Like, he's just throwing punches and his hands is just low. Like, I feel like his guard low.
So I love that you pointed that out. That's something that, especially someone who's who appreciates and supports Deontay Wilder, a lot of people won't talk about. I like what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying? He's not necessarily sitting down too much on every punch like he used to when he worked with Mark Brennan. But obviously, if you guys If you guys ever watched Mark Brennan as a fighter when he was a fighter, he fought very similar to how Deontay Wilder fought, or actually vice versa. Deontay Wilder fought similar to Mark Brennan because Mark Brennan, obviously, his fighting style and what he taught him was how he knew how to fight. So they fought very similar. So a lot of the way Mark Brennan would fight was similar to how Deontay was, where it's like, hey, if we're in there, we have the power. Let's get this guy out of here, right? He's made this change to Malik Scott. And obviously you see Malik Scott training him in the ways that he knows how to train. How Malik Scott trained. Malik Scott was a guy who loved his footwork, loved to use his IQ, moving around the ring, use his jab, be fast, quick, not really sit down on his punches. You see what I'm saying? And so what I'm seeing from this mid-work, also the mid-work that I saw previous to the Tyson Fury fight was like, okay, you're teaching him to box. Yes, a lot of people who are outside looking in, a lot of people who say Deontay Wilder didn't know how to box, they'll say, this is how you teach him to box, by doing these things. And it's like, no, boxing, you can't put boxing in a box. How ironic that is. It's like, you can look as if you're not doing the fundamental right things to the naked eye, but if you don't understand the reason why things are being set up, why the game plan is there, then my nigga, you have no credit, you have no merit in saying whether or not this is boxing or not. You're just going off the basis, well, I remember how Floyd trained. I remember how James Toney trained. I remember how Roy Jones Jr. trained. He's not training like him, so he's funneling me off. Look at his footwork, all this type of thing. Like whenever I hear a nigga go into detail like that on boxing, I'm like, okay, nigga, you literally are a nigga who just likes watching shit. Because at the end of the day, it's a sport. At the end of the day, it's a art. At the end of the day, you'll learn things fundamentally, but then when you're comfortable, you create your own way of utilizing it. So a lot of people will look at Deontay Wilder's style previous to Malik Scott and say, you are not a fundamentally sound fighter. But then if you go look at Mark Brennan and how he fought and how he won titles, and people will praise him back in the day, they'll say, man, he knows how to box. Wilder literally fought the same way as Brennan. He was just 6'7".
Bro, it's just like Andre Miller. They tell you he was bland. And then you look at a nigga like Jamal Crawford, he got all the shabazz to him. So if you looking at naked eye, you're gonna be like, Jamal Crawford was way better than Andre Miller. But Andre Miller was cold, nigga. That nigga was getting 50 points, couldn't even shoot a 3. Leading the league in assists.
So it comes down to your understanding. And a lot of people don't understand it to that sense. A lot of people feel like if you know how to box, you have to have your hands here. You have to throw a good jab. You have to throw a good right hand. You got to, you know what I'm saying? You got to be here all the time. I'm like, no, that's not true. So basically, the reason why I'm agreeing with Zen is the fact that as much as I appreciate this mid work that's different than what he was previously doing, he looks faster. He's using the jab, the right hand's coming off quick, etc. He's not necessarily sitting fully down on his punches so he can get in and he can get out. I don't think that was ever his problem. I agree with you. I think if he was with his last trainer, Brennan, he would have been able to do the same things if he chose to do mid work that way. Once again, like you were saying, his problem is defense. It's always been defense. And the reason it's been defense, because if you look at Brennan, his losses was because he had no defense. And a lot of y'all might hate me for it, but you can go back and look at his fights. Brennan was a guy, I'm going here, I'm going to throw my power, I'm going to get you out of there. And if I don't get you out of there, well, shit, we slugging it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the basis of Wilder. So I'm like, if I was Malik Scott, my focus wouldn't be on like how you can get your hands off. Let's put you in a position where if someone is firing back at you, we need to make sure you're able to get up, you know what I'm saying? Slip, or block, catch, and then be able to angle and turn out. But at the same time, I understand how crazy that sounds when we're talking about a 6'7" heavyweight at 35, 36 years old. So it's like a double-edged sword, if that makes sense.
It's just all about what you're willing to do. Like, some people can just, like Dennis Rodman, right? He was like, I picked up the triangle offense in 20 minutes. I knew how to do it in 20 minutes versus other players that had to do the triangle offense. They didn't get it right away. They were like, this is tough. This is different. You know, even Carmelo, he like, this is not how I usually go get buckets. Like, I get buckets my own way. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's all about the person, right? So I'm like, I think Deontay Wilder could pick it up, but who is trying to tell this man what to do? That's his problem. Is Malik Scott trying to tell him, like, look, nigga, that big 6'9" gypsy whooped your ass twice, and I could blame part of me because I ain't trained your ass on no defense. You worried about all your offense. Your offense going to be there. Shaq can dunk the ball any time he won't, but is his defense there? I'm not saying Shaq was Shaq, but you get what I'm saying? Like, if his defense was flawed, that's what Shaq got to work on, not dunking the basketball.
No, but actually that's a perfect example because Shaq was so goddamn athletically gifted and so goddamn big he took his prime for granted in that showcase when he got older, because it was like, oh, you never had a real work ethic. So as soon as you start getting older, as soon as your metabolism slows down, that shit is showing in the game like this. Because when you don't feel like doing something, you don't know the mindset of being like, oh, I can get my ass up and get this shit taken care of to make sure I'm not gaining extra pounds because I'm 32 now and nigga, I can't just eat this and have one workout and be good. That's not the case. So it's like when I look at Deontay Wilder, it's like it's kind of the same similarities, not in the sense of work ethic and things like that, but it's where what got me here is what worked. So now that I'm here, even though there's an illusion of I have a new trainer, as soon as he's in the ring with someone who's able to take that big punch in return, now what? Because that's Wilder's problem. Robert Helenius, no, I don't think he's going to be able to take a big punch and then be able to put pressure on Wilder. So I think he's okay. Luis Ortiz, no, I don't think that's the case. Andy Ruiz, no, I don't think that's the case.
I just think Wilder's problem with Fury is Fury was him, but he's white, right? People don't look at white people like you ain't had to struggle as a nigga. That could be possibly relatively true, but that doesn't mean somebody ain't going through something that's hell. It doesn't mean that somebody didn't have to go through a lot of trials and tribulations himself. The man was 378 pounds. I don't know if anybody out here that went from 250 pounds to 378 pounds. That's like the equivalent of me. I'm 175, 180. If I go to 280 pounds, that's going to be hard to go from that back to, say, I want to get to 215, 210. I've never been that heavy in my life, but I'm saying if I was to cut down, this man came from depression. This man came from a whole lot. So him getting knocked down by Wilder,
that's nothing.
He just was like, all right, that hurt. All right, I'm going to get back on my feet. And his fundamentals and his training that he had for his whole life kicked in. He's like, all right, I'm dance around his ass. Okay, he got me that time. And then boom, he got hit again. He's like, okay, damn, I was playing around. Boom. And the next fight, he's like, I ain't playing no games with his ass this time.
But even to add on to that, I don't think we talk about enough, which is similar. I don't think we talk about enough of the fact that Tyson Fury saw a guy in Ben Davison who never been picked for a trainer before. He said, you're going to be good for me to help me lose weight. But then right when he lost the weight and he saw he had some struggles against Wilder, he said, I appreciate you, brother, but let me go over here to Sugar Hill Stewart is going to show me how to use my size and my power to defeat Deontay Wilder, because he has the credentials to do so, because his pops did it with Lennox. His pops did it with the Klitschko. So obviously he knows how to do the same thing. You see what I'm saying? And so then we look at Wilder and he's like, well, I got rid of a guy that threw in the white towel and I went to go out on my shield. But in retrospect, as much as I love Wilder, like I haven't really talked extensively, but as much as I love him, but I'm like, in retrospect, if Brennan never threw that in, you may have never had a trilogy fight with him, because Tyson Fury could have battered you so bad where motherfuckers, one, would not want to see the trilogy fight, and two, you would have sustained enough damage where it wouldn't make sense. So I'm like, there's a big difference when it comes to how shit is being looked at. And it kind of also goes back to what you were saying, Zen, where it's like, well, who's telling him, yo, your offense has always been there. You've never had problems with your offense. And like this idea where you need to be a boxer like Tyson Fury is like, that's what I see. Like I see Deontay Wilder almost in his head when I watch this shit is like, oh, I got to be a boxer like Tyson Fury because that's what beat me. And it's like
Deontay Wilder is the similar equation to that hood nigga in the street that whooped everybody ass, but then that one nigga came around the block and was like, I ain't having that shit. He got knocked down, got back up, and then whooped his ass. Like that's the equivalent. But everybody on the block still afraid of that dude because they like, well, we couldn't do it, but that one dude did it, but we don't. He a op. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying there's a possibility that the losses to Tyson Fury may hurt him more than help him, because even though it humbles him, he can still look back and say, well, Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight right now, so I lost to the best heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have to sit back and say, well, something needs to specifically change for me to beat everyone other than Tyson Fury. He's probably like, well, shit.
You know Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder was basically like Hakeem Olajuwon versus Shaq. Shaq was the most dominant dude in the league. He could dunk on anybody. He was still giving Hakeem work, but when it came down to the end, certain things, details, passing, being in shape, that man Hakeem had it all. He had the skill set. He could shoot. He could do this. He could do that. He could hit his free throws. So it's like that traumatized Shaq. But the difference between Shaq and Wilder, that happened when Shaq was 26 years old, 25 years old, versus Deontay. This happened to him when he was 34, 35. So that's how it was. It's just unfortunately for Wilder, he's not young enough to correct those mistakes now. Now it's like, okay, can I just be like, all right, my training camps were specifically working on defense, because it's like Shaq, like I said, the dunk is going to be there. You don't need to go to the gym and work on your dunk. You don't need to go to the gym and work on your right hand. You already know how to line that up.
God gave that to you, Wilder. I'm like, a lot of niggas do have to go. Like, there's a lot of like you said, there's you're anomaly. Shaq is anomaly. There's a lot of niggas who have to work on their dunk. There is a lot of niggas who do have to work on that right hand being that powerful and come off the way you are. But Wilder, no, nigga, you Shaq when it like Shaq's equivalent of how he was dunking on niggas in his prime. That's your right hand. That's just God gifted you that. So you don't got to work on that.
Like these mitts is cool, but it's like that's why like Flu know, like, I mean, I might not have been the greatest trainer of all time or whatever, but when we would work on a mitts, sometimes I would just surprise him. He'll get comfortable. He'll start throwing, and I just throw like 3-4 combos to him. Boom, 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 boom. He'd be like, oh shit, okay, I like that. Like, you know, and then now he's on alert. Now he's like, okay, when I throw, I'm on defense now. I'm still trying to line you up, but I'm more focused on not getting hit. So Wilder, it's like, you know, like you said, this next opponent, I think he's gonna wash this dude out. I don't think that you know, Wilder's really gonna you know, do too much. I mean, the other dude's not gonna do too much to a threat, but that's not who he has to worry about. He has to worry about like a Usyk. He's fighting for something. You know what I'm saying? He has a chip on his shoulder, even though he's so skilled. I'm just saying, if that happens at one point, that's who he has to worry. He like one thing I give Mosley when I was at Eli, right? His whole preparation was like, we're not worried about, you know, he wasn't overlooking opponents, but he's like, when we're training in here, we're training for the Saddlebacks, we're training for the San Bernardinos, we're training for the San Franciscos, we're training for the big boys.
So don't get comfortable.
Yeah, so when we get there, we understand what all this work was for. Like right now, Wilder, you should be worried on how can I beat Tyson Fury? Not trying to overlook your opponent, but do things that's going to implement Tyson Fury. This dude is the same size as you.
I can counter that in the sense of you don't want to overlook your opponent because it is boxing.
I didn't say overlook, but I'm saying the dude is 6'7". He's only 2 inches shorter than Fury. He could still implement something that he could use towards Fury against this opponent. This is a great.
I think that is how he's going. I think that's the reason why he's going for Robert, because he's looking for the taller opponent. I agree with and this is me not saying I disagree. I agree with you with what you're saying. I just don't want to. I don't want to make it seem as if I don't think Wilder and his team is putting in the preparation to make sure they are ready for someone like either a Helenius or for the possibility of fighting Tyson Fury again. I just also think there's this period of time right now that Wilder's dealing with his team that we kind of saw going into that, the third fight with Tyson Fury, where it's almost like he's trying to revamp his style, which I'm not a fan of. Because we've seen, like, it's obvious. I'm like, Malik Scott fights completely different than how Brennan fought. It's not even close. Like, Malik Scott was a boxer. Here in and here out.
He didn't get knocked out by Ortiz.
Nigga ran off. I'm not even getting that. That one of the most boring fights in the world. That nigga Malik Scott did not want that right hand. But real quick, hey, yo, Dub Right Side, salute to you. I'm going to bring you up into this joint. So we can get the chat. Keep going. Well, actually, before I bring you in, Dub Right Side, I want to finish this mitt work real quick. It's probably going to be like 1 minute. I just want to finish this joint real quick, and I'm going to bring you in, Dub. It's going to be the first time Dub Right Side is going to be here with Young Zen. So you know we're going to get the topics going crazy. So I'm going to be very interested how Dub Right Side and Zen go at it when it comes to topics. It's going to be interesting. But sit tight real quick, Dub. I'm going to bring you in. Let's go ahead and just finish this little video of the mitt work real quick. And then once this mitt work is done, I'm going to bring you in, Dub. So I'm going to let it go. And I'm also doing this too because I got to take a peek. So it's going to be copping out. So I'm going to bring it back a little bit. We're going to go ahead and let this mitt work go through. I'm going to bring you in, Dub.
Oh, snap.
Too short. Too short. Yup. Put it forward behind. Forward. Shot.
Dang, that's crazy.
Oh shit.
Hey, bro, you see the Lakers are trying to trade for Patrick Beverly?
You all right?
The Lakers.
Now I'm like, who they trying to trade for Patrick?
Talon Horton.
Man, that shit ain't gonna help. That shit ain't gonna help him. Respectfully. What's up, family? What's up, Goose? Appreciate you allowing me on tonight. What's your name, brother? So I make sure I don't want to.
This is my guy Zen. Zen up in here, man. He be up. He basically part of the goddamn channel. Nigga.
Zen, man, my brother, what's going on, bro? I'm Dub, man, and nice to meet you. Love to chop up boxing with anybody, bro. Love to chop it up, and much love to you, brother. Much love to you.
Dub in the building.
Appreciate you being here too, dog.
Man, little man. Hey, you changed the profile. I like the profile. By the way,
Man,
I did want to say this.
Go ahead.
Quick. I got your email. I got you. I definitely want to do it. I know Knockout Boxing, he probably don't feel no way, but he probably like, man, this nigga. Look, I work like my
bro, you good, bro. You
crazy. I'm
don't
telling you
hey,
when I say I'm gonna get on them joints, I will get on them joints. Like that's one of the new things I'm getting used to YouTube. I'm like, collabs is a real big thing, but I promise you, I don't look at me as no flake ass nigga, man. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get on them joints.
Now, I want to say this before we get jumping. I want to say this. I was on. We had a debate tonight. You know, well, he had a debate tonight. I always say he Al Heyman. You know what I'm saying? I'm Sam Watson, bro. You know what I mean? So I'm behind the scenes doing my thing. But man, he asked me. He said, man, he trying to get back in the ring. He want any topic, and I was like, bro, one of the topics, and I wanted to ask you, Black. What you think? And well, first off, I don't want to get on and interrupt your show, man. Go ahead. My apologies. I want you to go.
Nah, drop it in, man. Drop it in. I want to hear.
So the question
too. Let me ask you this too on Knockout Boxing. Does he ever do anything on like Fridays or Saturdays, or is it always usually during the week?
Nah. So all his shit is during the week, bro. So right, he has on Sunday he has a show. You know what I'm saying? They recap the fights. Him and one of the OGs, you know what I'm saying, they recap the fights, but normally his shit is Wednesday and Thursday.
All right. So you see, that's what I'm gonna have to fix, because you know what I'm saying, I'm not like usually the most live time for this channel, you know, is my weekend, because that's when I'm free. You know what I'm saying? I do work another job. Like during the week is the most complicated. But I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna make sure I communicate and we get it right. But go ahead, drop the question. I'm gonna resist being on the joint too.
So he said he wanted well, it wasn't for you, but he was like another individual was talking about Demetrius Andrade. I say Andrade. What you say his name is, bro? Is it Andrade?
It's Andrade. That nigga from Brooklyn.
Andrade. Okay.
Last time, like,
I know. I always
or something.
That shit be throwing me off, bro. Like I'm so used to saying Andrade that it throw me off. But now one of the questions he was like, man, he wanted to debate. Did he duck Janabek? You know what I mean?
That's what everyone's saying right now.
And so he was like, man, but at the end of the day, he told me, he was like, man, I need somebody to get in the ring with me. I'm not saying it's you, but he was like, bro, hey,
I'll show up for that one. I'll show up for that one, because I'll tell you right now, like the only other person like that's really like my top fighter is Keith Thurman. So that's one I really wanted to debate, but I also knew as much as I can debate Keith Thurman versus, you know, Earl Spencer, Terrence Crawford, I'll be putting myself in a box, because people are as of now and they don't appreciate as of late. So it's very easy to argue a lot of stuff as of now against Keith Thurman. So I knew I'd put myself in a box.
If you get in any debate, one thing I want to tell you, when you get in that debate, so the way it's set up, you know what I mean? And if you want, I'll moderate this shit or whatever on his channel, but if you debate them, one thing you need to do, make sure the questions and the topics that you come up with, it'll be 3 topics that y'all will debate. Bro, make sure that they're favorable for you, because there are times I've seen individuals debate topics, and I'm sitting here like, bro, you can't win. Like if we talking about it's certain topics that you just can't win. You know what I mean? Because of what the topic is and the facts behind it. So make sure whatever you want to talk about,
or the
make sure it's right.
A lot of times what it is.
Make sure that it's a fair ass topic. You know what I mean? Something that can truly be debated, and there's not going to be. And I just want to give an example of it. I watched two individuals get in or debate about tonight whether Canelo was over criticized or not. We all know Canelo is over criticized. We know that, but at the same time, it is. So when you get in and you try to debate against that, the topic just ain't in your favor. Regardless of what you're talking about, it's not in your favor. And so
examples for the opposite side.
Right. And so all I say is whatever if you and I'm not saying you got to, but if you want to get in there, just make sure the topics are very fair on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even leaning towards you, just to be quite honest.
No, but see what you're saying, like that's why. That's not the really specific reason why I've been, but really part of it is like, okay, the original topic that I wanted to debate had to do with Keith Thurman better than Errol Spence. I was like, I'm gonna lose that one, period, because a lot of that's gonna be my biasness. So it's like I can't really do that one. Second one was, damn, I can't remember. Was it Terrence Crawford?
Whatever it is, all I'm saying is whatever the topic is, just make sure the shit is balanced where you can, whatever side you taking, you have a leg to stand on. Because I done seen niggas get into. Go ahead.
No, but that's why when you're talking about the Demetrius Andrade and the Hannibal fight, or if it's ducking, that's one I'm willing to do. Not necessarily, even though I love Demetrius Andrade, everything, but that's really an easy one to even argue. I feel like that's in my favor. I'm like, how can you argue he's ducking? Like, I'm not even gonna get into the reason why I'm gonna say it, because I basically be giving out my point. But I'm like,
save your point. Save your point.
That shit is obvious that it's not ducking. I'm like, but anyways, I would be willing to do that one, but it would all just depend on time and day. That's really just all my problem is for the most part. At least during the week. Like if it was the weekend, I'm like, but the week,
and that's what I was gonna say. If it comes down to it, time and day, it's gonna be for me, which is 8:30. So that's what respectfully,
I'm Central.
Okay. So it'll be 7:30 your time. And he also said, you feel me, like I'll probably be the moderator and you can pick the judges. You know what I mean? So he'll give you those leeways because he feel he rocking like that. I ain't gonna lie, my brother Knockout, he a savant, but you a savant in the sport as well. You a savant in the sport as well.
When he popped on his joint, he was confident. I felt it. I was like, I respect. I was like, knew it. When I asked him that one specific question, I was like, okay, he knows his shit. So I'm like,
Knockout no boxing. He no boxing.
It's gonna be a good time. I get so.
But I ain't gonna lie to you. One of the reasons I want you to rock, because like I rock with you. I don't jump on everybody's channel, but I rock with you just because, bro, you know boxing, and I respect that. I respect that.
Because your opinion, like about the systems, you be like, man, and I be leaning toward, like, I'm like, you can't be just getting on the fighters like that all the time. You got to understand the systems behind it, and the machine behind it. But we agree a lot of times on that shit as well, though. So I know it is. But a lot of people don't be acknowledging that. A lot of people want to go straight to, oh, he's ducking, he's this. It's like
But that's why I say whatever the topics are, because of the thought process, you got to make sure that the topics are somewhat favorable. You know what I mean? Because
I understand too.
Exactly.
Now I'm telling you, I'm gonna do it. That's my goal. I know. So 7:30. The only thing is 7:30 my time. 7:30 my time is rough. I'm like, you can ask my guys in. I'm like, 7:30 my time is rough because I usually don't get back to the crib during the week until
9 o'clock.
Like, you know what I'm saying, like 8. My time is
And one of the things, the reason I'm able to do it, I'm East Coast, you know what I'm saying? So when it's 7:30 y'all time, is 8:30 my time. I put my son down, you know what I'm saying? I put my son to bed at 9, and then that's when I start to rock around 9. That's why I can hop on your shit late at night, because this is the time I'm able to rock, because normally throughout the day, Well, my son normally at school, but then I'm working when he at school. So and then he get out of school. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. But
Yeah.
I definitely understand that time. I understand the time frame as far as you talking, bro. I definitely understand that.
That's what I just want to say. Yeah, we're gonna get to the topic. I just want to say, you know what I'm saying? Hey, much love to Knockout Boxing TV. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get in the topic. I promise you, I'm gonna get in that. But all right, we're gonna get back to what we was talking about, Zen. My bad. You know what I'm saying? Had you out of there. You know what I'm saying?
My apologies, Zen. My apologies, Zen.
Nah, you good, bro. We're gonna get back to the Deontay Wilder topic. So I got another video that I want to show when it comes to that joint. So we just got done watching the open workout. Well, not necessarily the open workout. It was just doing some mitts. But I want to get to another video on his boxing power. I think we got a little bit of feedback coming on your side, the right side, a little bit. Oh, he good. He got it. So we're gonna I'm gonna open this up, and I want to my first question is gonna be, I wanted to go ahead and go to Zen. You know what I'm saying? Since I had you out for a little bit, so I want to get you back in the game. You know what I'm saying? Get you off the bench. Especially still, we still talking about his favorite fighter real quick. Dub, I know it's the first time, you know what I'm saying, you being on here with.
That is not my favorite fighter.
His favorite fighter, you know what I'm saying, the one that he feels like can do no wrong. He's the best ever to do it is Deontay Wilder.
That is not my favorite fighter, dog.
But
My favorite fighter is Terrence Crawford. Don't let this man mislead you.
Hey, look. So Devin Haney is my favorite fighter, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I rock with Deontay, bro. I rock with Deontay Wilder.
We all do, yeah.
So I rock with him, especially I live in Georgia. You know what I mean? So
from the South.
Yeah, you damn right. And I ain't even from Atlanta. I'm from the country of Georgia. I'm from Middle Georgia. If I told you where I was from, y'all probably wouldn't have a clue what I'm talking about. So I ain't gonna talk about it. But I definitely rock with.
Nigga letting you know, he's like, nigga, I'm from Georgia, the middle of it.
I rock with Deontay, man. I rock with him.
We all do. But I do want to ask this. I'm want to direct this towards Zen, because I've been very critical on his new trainer, Malik Scott. I'm still very critical. I'm still not a fan of what I'm seeing. They basically, I don't know whose idea was it for him to blow up, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, he's back down to, it seems like, his original weight. I just want to know your opinion. Like, what do you like what you're seeing from Deontay Wilder? Do you still feel confident that, you know what I'm saying, majority of the opponents that he'll face, he'll be able to get past?
Bro, but Fury, bro.
So you feel like he'll be able to beat everybody but Fury? That's what you're saying?
Only other person that might have a shot is Usyk, just because of his skills. But I just don't think he's tall enough to really, just because of that power. So it's like, I don't know if Usyk's ever been hit with something that crazy.
What about Andy Ruiz? Let's say, I know you don't think this, but let's say Andy Ruiz does beat Luis Ortiz. You don't think Andy Ruiz, because Andy Ruiz wants Wilder. If in the perfect world of PBC, Andy Ruiz beats Luis Ortiz, Deontay Wilder beats Helenius, and then we have Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder.
You sound crazy, bro.
You don't think Andy Ruiz had a shot?
Did you not see what he did to Ortiz twice? No, that man don't got no shot.
All right. So let's see if we get a little argument here. The right side. Do you feel like Andy Ruiz has a shot against Deontay Wilder?
Hell no. I like Andy Ruiz. I like him. You know what I mean? Outside of him, I think now he wants to be in shape and that type of shit. He's working on being in shape before the nigga eating burritos in training camp and shit. But at the end of the day, bro, that right hand, he ain't gonna be able to get out of the way of that right hand. And man, Andy Ruiz, he getting stopped. Anybody, in my opinion, I agree. Outside of Tyson Fury, bro, it's hard for me to see a nigga really beating Deontay Wilder because of that right hand that he got. He got the ultimate equalizer. And his boxing skills are there. He ain't got the greatest boxing skills, but he can still box. You know what I mean? And what he's really good at is he has a system to deliver that right hand. And that's what you need, you know what I'm saying, as a fighter, especially when you're relying on that power. And he can do that. And that's what, man, outside of Tyson Fury right now, even Usyk, he gonna get caught with some punches. You know what I mean? Usyk got great footwork, but at the same time, bro, You're gonna get caught. You're gonna get caught a couple times. We seen him getting caught multiple times against AJ, especially to the body. We seen him getting caught. Go ahead. My bad. I get my own minute.
I think no. You good. But I think we get a little bit too caught up in something landing and something being effective, right? Especially in the moment. And what I mean by this, what I'm saying by this is, yeah, Usyk definitely gets caught, but so does Wilder, right? Andy Ruiz gets caught, AJ gets caught. It's all about when they get caught, what ends up happening. This is me not trying to make a pushback, play devil, whatever the case may be. But it's like I understand the aspect of, okay, Andy Ruiz got hit with a right hand from Chris Arreola and put him on his knee. So why would he be able to take a right hand from Deontay Wilder? It's going to be there. So I understand that aspect. But I think also that's not the same. You can't equate that to Usyk getting hit by Joshua and being like, well, if he gets hit by Joshua, he can get hit by Wilder. It's not the same. It's not the same thing in my mind. Because Usyk did not get hurt in that entire fight. You can argue that he did, but he never took a knee. He never went down. None of that ever happened. So he never got hurt. Yeah, he got hit with good shots.
The biggest head in heavyweight right now is Luis Ortiz, and that man went down twice. Nobody can tell me right now. And we talking about being hurt. He didn't get hurt versus Charles Martin. None of those punches hurt him. He just came in, got hit at the right time, is like what you're saying. But was it effective? No. But when Luis Ortiz put that thing on his chin, what happened? That man thought it was Saturday.
Nigga started looking in the audience, and he didn't even know where he was at. He didn't know where he was at.
It's Monday, right? Like, bro, you in a fight. What? I'm not fighting right now. That's Saturday, bro. It's Saturday.
That nigga he was about to walk out. He was about to walk out the ring when he got clipped.
Remember, he got mad. He tried to argue it was a legal hit. He didn't even remember what happened. He argued toward the ref like that was illegal. He wasn't allowed to hit me at that point. It was like, no, nigga, y'all was fighting.
That's how confused was, bro. That's how confused was.
But that's my point. I'm like, well, Wilder, bro, you keep talking about effectiveness. There's not been that one man to stand in that ring and not hit them knees or that back.
Facts.
Everybody didn't hit that back. Fury hit that canvas 4 times with that man. It's just he's 6'9", 280.
Facts.
Only time too. Let's think about it. People always want to kind of compare. Oh, he got dropped by Steve Cunningham. You got to remember that was a flash knockdown. That was what was similar to what we were talking about. A Luis Ortiz, Charles Martin, or Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, were in the sense of he got hit and it came out of nowhere, but he went back up. Every time he got hit by Deontay Wilder, that wasn't no flash knockdown. That was like, okay, hold up, let me get a second.
This shit might be over. This shit might be over.
He really lost the first fight if we count right.
Depends on who you're talking to. If you talk to Tyson Fury fans, they're gonna say that's wrong because they're gonna say at the end of the day, the count and how long it is to the ref's discretion. That's exactly what it is. It's like what they'll argue.
If it's me, I agree with you. The shit should have been over. It should have been over.
In a regular fight, that's 10 seconds. But and they have every right to argue it because it's in the rule book. And this is one of those things where it's like, okay, you don't want to debate this because it's like people will just be like, yeah, all that sounds cool. But in the rule book, it says on the ref's discretion what a 10-second count is, they can choose what that is. So if 10-second count to them
I'm not trying to debate whether that's true or not. I'm just talking about how long that man was on his back.
Facts.
That's what my point is. I was saying how long he was on his back. So I'm saying if he's put everybody down, you saw Sterveen, he thought he was untouchable because he went to a decision with Wilder. And that man ain't been since then.
Life went away, man. Don't do that to Sterveen.
I'm just saying, man, that was one of the craziest sequences in boxing history, dog. He had the ref. I've never seen a ref jump onto somebody's back. Just to calm him down.
Argument, though, okay, so me to play devil's advocate argument, whatever the case may be, is like you can't bring in other examples, especially when it comes to fighters not on the level of Tyson Fury, to say this is why my point is valid. I can say that because at the end of the day, we're talking mano y mano. We're talking about the two. I'm like, if we're talking about a chess match, we're talking about boxing math never works. How can I bring in the fact that, oh, this happened here, this happened here? No,
but I didn't just bring in Tyson Fury. I said everybody. That's
like you can't use them as an argument.
Even bringing in Tyson, bro, that make it even worse. Ain't nobody right now in the heavyweight division. Ain't nobody 6'9", goddamn 260, 270 in the ring. Niggas ain't coming in like that. And if
And that's
if
Swift.
Deontay Wilder was able to put him down, nigga, that right hand gonna put respectfully to anybody. If you get clipped with that right hand, bro, you're going down, bro. It is what it is.
Ortiz
Now,
has the biggest head in the division. That thing is Megatron-esque. And that thing went down 2 fights.
I'm gonna look.
That's all I gotta
as
say.
much like I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here because you know what I'm saying, y'all too much just supporting Wilder right now, and I love Wilder to the fullest. But for y'all to act like
because we just seen in the it's not biased though. Like if we felt like it couldn't be possible,
that both sound biased.
If we feel like this couldn't be possible,
I could be biased. Y'all both sound biased. Y'all have like
I feel like
y'all. I'm like, look, Wilder is a beast. He has the right hand. He has the equalizer. But let's not act like.
Okay, let me say this.
A lot of his fights, he's gotten outboxed in majority. Then he lands the big right hand. You don't think there's a possibility someone could happen to get in the ring and
it's a possibility
happen to have a chin just as strong as Tyson Fury, and when the right hand lands, it doesn't do anything.
Anybody, I could get knocked out. You can get knocked out.
Doesn't matter.
All can get knocked out. Flu. We're not saying that he can't lose. You said who can he not knock out, and we said not nobody.
No, that's not what I said.
And this is the thing, bro. So for you to say that there's a difference, if you want to say he can get outboxed, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree.
You're not disagreeing that, but can you not knock nobody down? You crazy.
But at the end of the day, even though he can get outboxed, he still got the ultimate equalizer, bro. And in this, bro, he ain't ran up against nobody he put on their ass, bro. You tell me somebody Deontay Wilder ain't put on their ass.
I don't disagree with that. All I'm saying is at the end of the day, someone can argue is the people he's came across as limited opponents. So it's like, all right, he hasn't really necessarily come across the people that we say, oh, they have the strongest chin in the heavyweight division.
Who got the strongest chin in the heavyweight division?
Some would say Joseph Parker. Some would say,
oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
Some would say Derek Chisora. There's a lot of people that people would put out. Some would say Zili Wong, excuse me if I'm saying it wrong, Zili Wing. Some would say that.
Zhang,
excuse me. Someone say Zili Zhang. I'm like there's a lot of people that you can throw out there that people would say like has some of the strongest chins in the sport of heavyweight boxing that Deontay Wilder has not faced. I'm like, Deontay Wilder, the only heavyweight, and this is me, I'm a Deontay Wilder fan, but like I can understand the argument. The only real heavyweight Deontay Wilder has faced is Tyson Fury. Everyone else, he's way bigger than
if Ortiz knocks out Ruiz, all that go out the window.
But it's like
they not put his ass. Okay, go ahead. Go. I'm done. I ain't my bad.
No, I wanted to hear you. No, I want you to say your point because I knew you was gonna agree with Zen, so I want to because I already knew what I was gonna counter with, and I was like, it's gonna be able to.
It's not that. It's not that I don't think he can get outboxed. I believe he can, and we've seen him being outboxed, bro. We've seen Deontay outboxed before. The thing is
he got outboxed by Gerald Washington,
but he has
Gerald.
At the end of the day, regardless of what you feel, whenever you feel he ever got outboxed, right? He has the ultimate equalizer. And because of that right hand that he has, it changes. I look at the fight totally different than I would look at normal fights. Respectfully.
I agree with that.
And the reason I do it is because what I've seen, bro, you ain't never seen nobody go in and, man, Deontay Wilder, he'll clip your ass, and in my opinion, it don't even look like it's a great-ass punch. I'm like, damn, that shit didn't land well. And then next thing you know, the nigga sleep on the goddamn canvas.
Brazil got done dirty, boy.
But I'm like, this. Okay, my whole point is
Brazil was out
of
there.
Real quick, let me ask this, Zen. Even in that wasn't even the greatest punch, bro.
It was weak. It was really a weak punch, but he got hit like his soul was out. I was like, goodness.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That right hand, when you got that equal, it's like Tank Davis, bro.
No, you wait. I gotta get on Flu. Sterving at the time before Wilder did that. You said he had one of the best chins in the division. I remember that. You was telling me, you was like, Sterving has never been knocked out ever. So he's knocked out people that had granite chins.
All right, I'm not going against that point. I'm just going back to the fact that I
You
can
just going
still.
off of these casuals that love these
No,
fanboys.
but you gotta let me finish my point. I'm like, my point comes back to is like you can still argue that his resume still doesn't showcase for the type of
Resume don't have
Who
nothing.
has a good resume besides AJ? Let's be real. Tyson
Yeah,
Fury's
let
resume
me-
is trash. It's
Y'all don't
trash.
let me speak.
My bad.
Go ahead.
Y'all
I
let me
just
speak.
want to know.
I apologize. It's your
I
turn.
know y'all love Deontay. I do too. I'm just saying, I'm like, you can't discredit people who are coming in and they're saying, hey, Wilder has only fought PBC heavyweights. Other than Tyson Fury, there's no one that I can say I know of that I can really respect and say that he's beaten and really showcase what he's done. That's not me, but I can understand people who say that because if you're a Tyson Fury fan, how many American heavyweight boxers are you watching? So all they're going off of is, well, he tried against Tyson Fury, but it didn't work. So how good is he really? So it's like that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be like Deontay Wilder isn't great. He hasn't really showcased his skills, but in reality, he got outboxed by Gerald Washington for 6 to 7 rounds and it knocked him out. What has Gerald Washington done?
I'm saying, but to flip that, who is Tyson Fury fought besides Wilder and Klitschko? You can't name nobody.
You can't say who has he fought other than
Why
Wilder
can't you
and
say
Klitschko.
that?
You know who Klitschko was? He don't have to fight anyone other than Klitschko and beat him because of what Klitschko had done against in the heavyweight division.
Joshua doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he do the rest of his career because he beat Klitschko. He's good. That's what you're telling me then.
He will be. He's going to be making like that's how the UK sees it.
Why
I'm
don't
talking about us as Americans
want to fight? Answer this question. Why don't AJ want to fight? And this is the prime time right now. AJ just lost it. He just lost his fight to Usyk, right? And now Usyk and Fury, people say Fury retired. I don't believe the shit. And so I think Fury gonna come back and try to unify the division. If that happens, why can't AJ fight Deontay Wilder? That should be the fight we get then, right? When y'all agree with that?
Wilder, there's no
I see that.
No, but see, you guys are saying that. Why would Wilder take that fight?
What
money? You just said it yourself. That's a money generating fight.
And see, this is where I'm gonna blow y'all away. Do you guys remember when originally that fight was supposed to happen? AJ versus Wilder, or speculation or rumors, right?
It was like 5 years ago.
Rumors.
Exactly.
It never happened.
It never. Let me finish my point. But remember when that was supposed to happen, right?
Respectfully.
Who got disrespected the most out of the entirety of that?
Wilder.
Who got looked at as if he wasn't the A side out of the entirety of that? Wilder. Who got looked at as if, like, what are you even doing asking for 50-50? If I'm Wilder, I'm like, AJ, you want to fight with me, dog? For real? Me? So this is how I look at shit. It's like, yeah, it makes a lot of money. But if I'm Wilder, I'm like, why I gotta take a fight with AJ? What does that do for me?
To me, what it does for him, it gives all those UK fans that's talking that flim to put respect on that man's name.
The UK fans aren't paying my bills.
That fight will generate him $30 million plus for sure.
He's not fighting for money anymore. I'm like, that's what I'm trying to like put. Like, Wilder's not back. Like this is what I've been arguing since day one. I'm like, he's not coming back for money. He's not coming back for legacy. He's submitting Stone and all that. He's coming back because of what you said, Zen.
But
he wants that fourth fight with Tyson Fury.
But to your point was only way he would come back if it makes sense. Him fighting AJ makes sense because it's gonna make him money, and he still can get that Tyson Fury fight if he beats him.
If it gets him straight to the Tyson Fury fight, him fighting AJ right now does not get him to the Tyson Fury fight. He doesn't have to fight AJ to get the Tyson Fury fight.
Who does he have to fight then? Who's the gatekeeper?
Nobody.
To fight?
That's my opinion. I feel like he can knock out Robert Helenius. And he would be just in his Go ahead, right? I'm like, because me and Zen will go at it all day. I'm like, we need to equalize this stuff. Because I'm like, go ahead, my man.
He's gonna knock out Helenius. And now I want to say this though. Wait a minute. I want to say this. I want to say one thing. Me personally, right? Being a fan of Deontay Wilder's, I don't even want to see him back in the ring. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't want him to come back. That's my opinion. The reason
that negates everything you just said, though, right?
It negates nothing. I'm only talking about
everything.
Just hear me out. Only way you can say I'm negating something if that you're saying that I feel like this has to happen. I don't feel like anything has to happen.
Okay.
Matter of fact,
Okay. All right, I respect that.
I don't want to see the brother come back because at the end of the day, I think he's proved his point. He done defended. He defended his championship, or he defended his belt multiple times. And at the end of the day, I will say this: the one thing I worry about, especially with the punishment that he took in the Fury fight, bro. Hey, I don't want to see Deontay Wilder back. He don't have nothing else to prove to me. You know what I mean? I think he's a champion. He's one of the greatest in the division. You know what I mean? And so, in my personal opinion, he a Hall of Famer. He a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Dub, I'm gonna let you continue, but I'm like, it sounds like to me that you a little worried when it comes to this Robert Helenius fight. Am I tripping?
This is what I worry about. I'm not worried about him knocking niggas. I'm not worried about that. If he gets in these fights, I got him winning the fights. I'll put money on him winning the fights. You're
Deontay Wilder super fans. You was in just like you about to talk about that defense issue.
No, I'm not even. All I'm saying is because of the punishment he took in the Fury fight. You know what I mean? With the shots he got hit with at this point in his career, bro. I don't think he got nothing to prove. Now, if he comes back and fights, bro, I'm supporting the brother. I'm supporting him, man, for the Helenius fight. You know what I mean? I ain't going to that fight. The only reason I ain't going to that fight is because my favorite fighter is fighting that same day, Devin Haney. You feel me? I rock with Dev. That's who I rock with. But at the same time, I rock with Deontay Wilder too. And so,
you can watch both fights. It's gonna probably end fast. You probably gonna be watch both fights to be real with you.
I don't think Helenius versus Wilder is gonna be long.
But the thing is, man, I just don't want to see him take any more punishment. I want him, man. There are certain times when you look at.
You sound like you think he might lose.
It's not about winning or losing. That's not what it's about. It's not about winning.
I know what you're saying, but let's simplify it because I know exactly what you're saying. But at the end of the day, the way majority is going to look at it is, it sounds as if you feel he's going to get into the ring and it's not necessarily going to go his way. Not in the necessarily where he'll lose, but it's like, I don't want you to put yourself out there when you're not ready for it.
Hold on, let me go ahead and break it down then. He going to beat the dog. He going to knock Helenius out. He going to knock his ass out, right? Yeah, what I worry about is I feel like when he, in the fights that he had with Tyson Fury, you know what I'm saying? Regardless, I don't want to talk about cheating or nothing like that. All I'm saying is I felt
we too far gone from that. We can't get back into it.
But I felt like he took too much punishment in those fights. And at the end of the day, an individual like himself, man, I love an individual like Deontay Wilder because he showed up and showed out for the sport of boxing. He showed up and showed out. You feel me? He did his thing. And I think at this moment in time, bro, I want to see you, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's coming off of a loss against Tyson Fury, bro, ride off into the wind, bro. You ain't got shit to prove, and this is me being more of a fan of a fighter than a fan of the sport. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I hear everything you're saying. I do, and I respect it.
All I want to see is the brother live his life to the best of his ability. You know what I'm saying? He done made the money, bro. He don't have nothing to prove to nobody, man. Go do your thing, bro. Go do your thing. And at the end of the day, I want to say this too. If he come back and fight, I'm gonna rock with him.
Go ahead.
But at the same time, I really, even the Helenius fight, bro, I really don't want to. I don't want him to come back and fight no more. I don't think he has anything to prove.
Please, Zen, say. I need you to say because I'm like you. I hear you, but I'm like, it sounds like you losing some faith in your guy, man.
It's not. I think both y'all are over us.
It's more about me caring about him as a person and me loving everything he represented for the boxing, bro.
I hear you, Dub. I got here, Zen. I need to hear your opinion on this because I'm like, Dub, no, I hear you. Trust me, but Zen, go ahead.
What y'all both are underestimating is that Wilder got into this thing for one reason, was to help his daughter. He helped his daughter about 30 fights in. He didn't have to fight no more after 30 fights. He could have stopped right then and there. He'd have been good. He kept fighting because one thing that turned into I need to do this for my daughter turn into I have a love and a respect for this sport. And now I'm not fighting because necessarily for the money. He is doing it for the money. The money got to be right. But he's also doing it because he's like, I got to show motherfuckers I'm that dude. I got in this thing with little to no experience, and I've knocked everybody out. I knocked everybody down. But I think that him fighting to do like AJ, I think fighting to do like Hellenius, I think even fighting to do like maybe Usyk or Fury again, you talking about the damage. I've seen fighters have 100 fights. Roberto Duran fought almost 100 plus times. He had some of the craziest fights with Sugar Ray Leonard. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what love. We see dudes in the UFC, they fighting till they 45, 43.
Talk about it.
Ain't about at one point,
like that.
You know, they'll sacrifice that. No disrespect to Evander Holyfield. You hear that man talk? But in the midst of it, though, he like, I'm gonna keep fighting because this is my life. This is my passion. This is what I love to do when I wake up in the morning. And if I'm not doing this, what am I gonna do? Because to be real with you, I don't think Deontay Wilder will be a good boxing coach. He's not gonna get into the gym and make a prodigy because he's had God-given ability. It's like Shaq. He's not gonna go in there and make the next great big man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not what's gonna happen. So he has to live the moment he got right now. And his moment right now is I still got this power. I still got this right hand, and I can still baptize everybody. And if I keep working and I keep working hard enough, I got this much of a chance to go ahead and beat Fury. So that's what he's riding off of. It's not about the damage. He's a grown-ass man. You know what I'm saying? He can get, God forbid, he can get shot. That could be more worse than him taking that damage in the ring with Fury. You know what I'm saying? He can hit an artery. He can hit, all that can make stuff way more complicated than him going into that ring. Of course, you put your life on the line, etc. But I'm saying him fighting, I want to see it because I'm like, a dude like Fury coming from all what he came from, he came back and over on the top. This is Wilder's low point, right? This is his point where he like, look,
technically,
everything's not going my way. I came out saying some BS, saying this, that, and I still got whooped. So it's like, now what am I going to do? Am I going to fold up? Am I going to just say I'm going to retire into the wind and just, put my hat to that little trilogy I had? Or am I going to get my shit right? And I'm going to come back and show people that I'm really like, that's why I want to see that AJ fight. Because it's not about if he's cemented in legacy or not. It's about what can you really show somebody what you made of. And that's something for yourself. Not me, not Flu, not nobody. It's for himself. I want to show everybody that they saying I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this. This is your golden boy. Let me show you what I can do. That's where I want to see those fights. And even if he was to lose to Fury again, if he knocks him down again or 2 times like he did again, Fury himself is going to know, like, this was the greatest warrior I've ever fought. And he fought Klitschko. He gonna like, this is the greatest warrior I ever fought.
Oh, yeah. Definitely he feels that way. Let me ask this. You got a response? Anything Zen said? Dub?
Yeah, man, and I don't disagree with it. I don't disagree. And at some point in time, I think that, and this is being a boxing fan, bro, you tie a lot of things into the sport, right? And with Deontay Wilder, for me, I just feel like he don't have nothing to prove no more. It's nothing for him to prove, in my opinion. And so because I don't,
when you say that though, you're saying it to the masses. How you know he don't got nothing else to prove to himself?
And
he definitely has something to prove to the UK fans or the fans who follow Tyson Fury. Because you got to understand, a lot of people did not like the way he took his loss. We want to talk about AJ, and I have it in the title. AJ, he had a meltdown. A lot of people do not agree with how Wilder took his loss. I'm not talking about us, but there's a lot of people who feel like, man, you copped out, and you didn't just take the L.
Once again, at the end of the day, bro, I'm just saying that I'm not disagreeing with nothing y'all saying. I'm not disagreeing. I understand exactly where y'all coming from. And I understand where Deontay Wilder is coming from as far as coming back feeling he got more to prove. Just me being who I am, bro, I just don't think he got nothing to prove, bro. Like anything he goes and does now at this point in time, outside of being undisputed, I don't see nothing else he can do for the sport as far as, I mean, he'll always let me rephrase it. I don't see anything beneficial for him that he'll do for the sport. And so, go ahead.
You too much of a Deontay Wilder fan.
I'm okay.
There is something he needs to prove. And what is it? You need to beat Tyson Fury. And that's why I've been saying from day one, the heavyweight division is lit. The heavyweight division is crazy. Deontay Wilder versus AJ. Tyson Fury versus Usyk. The biggest fight in heavyweight to this day in our era that we're going to be talking about is going to be Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, happening 4 times. Tell me right now a bigger heavyweight fight than Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 4.
Do y'all want to see that fight again?
Yes, I do. If
Deontay
Wilder comes in and he knocks out Helenius,
Helenius
just goes,
I would prefer AJ fight, bro. I would prefer an AJ fight versus a Tyson Fury fight right now, bro.
I want to see Deontay Wilder versus AJ. What does AJ bring to Deontay Wilder? Wilder doesn't gain anything from that.
I want to see that
belt.
Fight.
He don't get nothing.
I want to see that fight just because I want him to just beat AJ and show AJ's fans that this is what he could have. This is what it should have happened a long time ago.
AJ fans.
I'm not saying that it's going to be bigger than Fury because you got the race factor, you got the giants, you got more of a storyline with that. But that does not mean that the AJ fight will not bring money though. You can't say that that's not going to be a big moment in history though. It's not going to be the biggest moment, but it'll be a moment though, fool. Come on, I think you're really downplaying that.
The only way I want to see Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder again, if Tyson Fury beats Usyk and the fight is for undisputed, then I don't mind seeing it. Outside of that, I don't want to see this shit again, bro. I don't want to see it no more.
Bro, why does it have to look? Ain't no way you can tell me you know about the powers that be, Eddie Hearns, all that stuff, and you gonna tell me I need to see a certain amount of belts in the game. Like Tyson Fury don't need to beat Usyk for us to see see Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 4. Like, what about who Wilder has to beat? Like, I feel like y'all just kind of like this.
Bro, Deontay Wilder, like, come on, man. Knocked out, bro. He got knocked out face first. You know what I'm saying? Again, and
can we talk about it though? Because
why not? Why we can't talk about it? He got knocked.
Look, what I'm saying is real quick.
And so at the end of the day, bro.
Wait, Dub, real quick. I'm gonna let you finish. But I do want to acknowledge Louis Coleman. Appreciate you, brother, being up in here, man. You always up here and salute to you, BlakGooseTV family. I just want to acknowledge what he's saying. He said Wilder won't end up Ali, and he said end up like Ali at all. Ali stayed past his prime, but Duran wasn't a heavyweight. He wasn't getting hit by a man over 220. It is different. That was a shot to Zen.
But it doesn't matter though because he's still that same weight class.
No, I thought it was a good comparison still, but I do think that's a good response. And then Wilder can't beat Fury. That was a shot toward me. Because I said people want to see him versus Fury. So I just want to throw that.
It doesn't matter. Punishment is punishment, bro. I mean, if I'm getting hit, of course it's going to hurt more. But if somebody over 200 pounds is hitting me, of course that's going to be more detrimental.
No, yeah. If I'm 175 pounds and I'm fighting someone who's 175 pounds, it's going to hurt just as much as a dude.
Yeah, that nigga that's 280 versus I'm 240.
It doesn't make a difference. Like I'm fighting the grown ass man and he's hitting me in the face. It hurts.
Yeah, like it hurts. Like it's damage is damage, bro.
Yeah. Don't be too specific. No, I like, and that's why I love the BlakGooseTV family because we be trying to be mad in the details. But I'm like, don't get too specific. Like, if you get hit by somebody throwing their whole hip in it, it don't matter.
It's gonna hurt.
That shit
it's gonna hurt.
Take a toll on
nobody 145 hitting me in the face gonna hurt. If Tank was to hit me right now in the face, I'm gonna be like, damn, that little nigga.
If a midget put the right weight into it, you was in the wrong angle with your chin out, you're done. I'm just saying.
Hey, why you gotta say a midget though, bro? This dude is crazy, bro.
That's the respectful way. Anyways, back to the topic. Hey, hand, look, I want to say this right now. All right, we got Zen up in the building, man. Zen's definitely a Deontay Wilder fan. Dub right side's up in here. I see
you a Deontay Wilder fan. Stop trying to act like you not a fan.
Nah, but I appreciate all boxing. I just feel like when it comes to Deontay Wilder fans, y'all be putting too much weight into the right hand, and it's like at the same time, the same way we would put a lot of weight into the right hand, we would still argue and say like, okay, we got a certain fight coming in, and like, yeah, he got that, one punch KO power, but you know what I'm saying? If he box, he good, you know what I'm saying? So I just be feeling like it'd be a double
Tim
entendre.
Duncan had better footwork than Shaq and had better fundamentals as far as using the glass. But would you take Tim Duncan over Shaq in his prime? Would you take Tim Duncan over Shaq in his prime? No, you would not. You Shaq fan, you will not.
That's a false equivalency.
No, it is not. What you talking about? We talking about skill and the same type of equivalent. You looking at the resume, Tim Duncan resume look better than Shaq's, but we talking about player for player. Who would you take? You're gonna take Shaq. So
That's
stop that. So
Lewis Coleman
because
coming
why?
at you.
Because of the dominance, because of how he goes about what he does. So you can't disrespect what Shaq do because all he wants to do is go and dunk, unquote.
I'm not trying to disrespect I'm not trying to disrespect the fact that Deontay Wilder has a God-given gift. That's not what I'm trying to do. And I feel like that's what a lot of times Deontay Wilder fans, or just when it comes to like just position themselves off of, like, you know what I'm saying? He has this equalizer in the game. That's what a lot of times we like to try to be like, okay, that's what we can really name and be in part of the argument. Yes, it can be part of the argument, but at the same time, we can't be the same people saying we enjoy the art, we enjoy the beauty, we enjoy the fact that it's the science, all this different type of stuff, but then be like, oh, but he got that equalizer. You know what I'm saying? But this is also to me, so y'all know, no, I'm not even gonna play my foot. But so I'm like, y'all can't do that.
Okay, if that's the case, I'm gonna come at you and how you come at Tank Davis, because Tank Davis got all the skills, all the power, but yet you say he's overrated.
He is. He doesn't have an equalizer. I'm like, y'all talk about he has
mad
power, bro. Hasn't knocked out anybody at the natural weight class. Dub, I know Dub is gonna get mad because he feels like Tank is.
But I'm saying his speed and his power is his equalizer. He has both the speed and power with the skills.
Like, I love Leo, and he's great, but I'm like, bro, that wasn't his natural weight class. So we got.
He beat Barrios. He knocked that man out. Keith Thurman, he couldn't even do that.
So the shit is a little different.
Barrios went up in weight when he fought Keith.
Doesn't matter. He didn't knock him out.
It does matter. He was more at his natural weight class, so he'd be able to take a punch better. He wasn't weight drained. He didn't gas. And he could have got knocked out if Keith Thurman decided to, but he said he wanted to go all 12 rounds. And if you don't think he could have knocked him out, watch the fight.
Man, we got to stop defending Keith Thurman, bro. We got to stop doing that. Keith Thurman
fans hate Keith Thurman, man. Earl Spence fans, y'all hate Keith Thurman.
The conversation earlier today, right? So Keith Thurman was moved up to the number one slot in the WBC, right? And he was moved up because he beat Mario Barrios, an individual who ain't never fought at 47, an individual who had just got his ass knocked out by somebody from 35. You know what I'm saying? Damn near 30. And so, and all of
weight drain. You don't think he was weight drained?
Hey, you can give me all the excuses you want to. I ain't talking about excuses. What I'm talking about is Mario Barrios isn't on the level of a Boots Ennis, a Stanley-Onis, a Butayev, Connor Benn. David Avanesian is a better fighter than goddamn at 47. Then motherfucking
knock out David Avanesian. That's crazy. You even put that there. That actually was very
David
I was
Avanesian
with you until you said that, motherfucker. I was like, whoa.
I mean, it's the truth.
You reached, nigga, to the top of the shelf, nigga. You trying to get the top ramen,
So you telling me that Mario Barrios, a nigga who had just got knocked out, ain't never fought at 47, he better than David Avanesian. That's what you telling me.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that.
Hey, you correct. All right, you got it. Hey, y'all got it tonight, bro. Clearly, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Clearly.
Hey, if you asking me if Mario Barrios is better than David Avanesian, yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I'm gonna stand by that.
Well, you keep standing by it. Keep standing.
I just be confused because at the same time, I'm like, you guys will credit Gervonta Davis for beating Mario Barrios, but then he's not that good. Where I can't credit Keith Thurman for beating him. That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand.
No, it makes sense because Mario Barrios was a champion at 40. Gervonta Tank Davis came up from 30 to 35 and then fought this nigga Mario Barrios at 40, knocked his ass out.
Gervonta Davis never fought at 140 before?
Let me just finish, bro. Gervonta Tank Davis came up in weight, knocked this nigga out, and then you telling me Keith Thurman is the goods, but Keith Thurman went the entire fight with his ass and spit his mouthpiece out when he got caught. Man, come on, stop the cap, man. Stop the cap.
Keith Thurman won a unanimous decision against Mario Barrios. Also, this too. I'm like, you're talking about, but Gervonta Davis, he never fought at 140 before?
Bruh, Keith Thurman
wasn't it?
He fought at 140. No, was it? He's fought at 140 before.
Had that 40 Mario Barrios, bro, when he knocked his ass out. That's the only fight that Gervonta Davis had.
He's missed weight. Not missed weight, but he's fought at 140 before.
Who else he fought at 40, bro? Who else he fought at 40?
I don't remember, but I'm like, he's spotted 140. I
Oh,
can tell.
140.
That
You
was
don't
his first fight. It was his debut, bro. I remember they was making that big deal. They was like, "Oh, this is his first fight, going up and wait to 140. Let's see how he lasts and how he does."
go
You can
ahead, bro.
Google it.
Good. I'm not gonna Google shit. You could tell me who the fighter is. You could tell me, but if you can't tell me, then I'm gonna tell your ass like I know. The only fighter that Gervonta Davis fought at 40 was Mario Barrios, and he knocked his ass out. And then when Mario Barrios
that might be his only 140 fight.
hold on, and then when Mario Barrios moved his ass up to 47, he fought Keith Thurman first, and Keith Thurman went the distance and spit his mouthpiece out when Mario Barrios hurt him.
But wait, don't cap on that fight. If you watch that fight, that nigga lost all 12 rounds and he got hurt in it. Because I'm like, don't cap on that fight. I'm like, you trying to make Gervonta look better than he was.
Go ahead.
And also Mario Barrios has been known for when it gets later in the rounds at 140 getting tired. So I'm like,
Can I finish my point? Can I finish my point, bro?
Only if you allow me to finish mine, nigga.
Nigga, I was the one talking and you cut me off. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. It's your turn. You're right. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. My bad.
I'm
right.
telling you, man. I'm like, I understand you very passionate about this. I don't
boxing in general. I love boxing in general. I'm gonna be talking regardless.
Mario Barrios is only 145 for sure. That's a fact.
All right, that was his only 145. I'll acknowledge that. Well, I ain't got no choice. That was wrong. But I'll acknowledge that was his only 145. But even in that being the case, I still don't think that negates anything that I have to say with my argument when it comes to Keith Thurman, because it really only kind of showcased that y'all live in the present and y'all want to talk about how great Errol Spence is because he beat Sean Porter, but
brought up Errol Spence
to beat Sean Porter was Keith Thurman, and y'all also want to criticize Terrence Crawford for fighting Sean Porter when he was past his prime. Keith Thurman fought Sean Porter at the earliest age. He also beat Danny Garcia, but anyways,
yeah, he did all that.
Not that good.
Keith Thurman did all of that shit, and I agree with you. He did all of that. He did all of that, and then he took a damn near a year and a half layoff. Correct?
He was injured, bro.
Okay, I'm cool with that. I'm not disagreeing. Okay, if you want to say he injured,
Errol Spence got in a car crash. That nigga was out for like a year.
And what Earl did, and then Errol Spence came back and fought the best. Keith Thurman,
the nigga fought Manny Pacquiao. What?
Keith Thurman came back once again.
Oh, he fought what's his name? Lopez. And then after he fought Pacquiao, that's 2 fights. Keith Thurman, like what? Earl Smith came back and fought Danny Garcia.
Danny Garcia was a multi-division champion.
Keith Thurman already beat him.
Listen, can you? I understand you love Keith Thurman. I understand that you love Keith Thurman. I'm not mad.
How do you give credit to another fighter for beating somebody, but you don't give credit to the fighter who beat the dude in his prime?
Hey, if you let me get my bars off, I'll tell you why. I will tell you why we do.
All right, go ahead, respond.
The reason we do it is because when we look at Danny Garcia, you know what I'm saying, and we're talking about Errol Spence, right? Errol Spence coming back fighting Danny Garcia. Mikey Garcia, when he came back and after
he was not a natural welterweight.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm not natural welterweight. I'm like, y'all went to get on me I'm just like, not a natural welterweight. You want to talk about Barrios? I'm like, Mike Garcia is not a welterweight.
All right, so we're gonna keep it to the present. You know what I'm saying? The current time frame, because so we don't get confused. We're gonna keep it to today. You feel me? Their last fights, right? Errol Spence, he had the eye injury, right? He was supposed to fight Pacquiao, had the motherfucking eye injury, and when he had the eye injury, he came back and who did he fight? He fought Ugas, right?
Yeah. No, he fought Garcia's first. He fought Garcia, and then he fought Ugas.
Eye injury, not off the eye injury. Off the car wreck.
You're talking about after the eye. Okay, yeah. He fought Ugas. Okay.
Off the car wreck. You feel me?
Garcia, and then after the eye injury, he fought Ugas. Yeah.
He fought Ugas. You know what I'm saying? So okay. And so he fought Ugas. Ugas is a natural 147 pounder, correct?
Yeah.
Then we have Keith Thurman, who took his time off and I'm not even gonna bring up his car accident. He took his time off for whatever reason. Not gonna bring up any reason. He took his time off, and then when he came back in February of this previous year, he fought an individual who was coming up from 140, right? Who had just got knocked out by somebody who was at 135, even at 135 now, just got knocked out by him, was moving up to 140, right? And he couldn't stop him. Matter of fact, and he got hurt to the body where he had to spit his mouthpiece out. Are those facts, or am I lying? Yes or no? Am I lying? Tell me I'm lying.
No, those are facts. Those facts. I respect that.
And so at the end of the day, when I look at those facts, if Thurman ends up fighting somebody at the 47-pound division, a natural 47-pounder, which Mario Barrios was moving up in weight and was able to hurt Keith Thurman to the body, why would I say that these other individuals wouldn't be able to hurt him to the body? And when I say other individuals, I'm not even talking about the top I'm not talking about the elite. I'm not talking about Bud. I'm not talking about Spence. I'm talking about Stan Leonis, Butayev, Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis, Conor Benn. All of them, they're going to stop Keith Thurman to the body, bro. They're going to stop his ass. He going to get stopped. And I like Keith Thurman, bro.
No, you don't. You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't say that. You would have made me stop at like the second name, but nigga, you would have said nigga all the.
I'm a realist, bro.
You basically said Keith Thurman is trash. He ain't gonna beat nobody.
I never said he was trash, bro. I'm a realist. I'm just a realist.
I know you didn't say it, but I could take off. I'm like, you literally named the entire up and coming 147 division. You saying they all gonna beat Keith Thurman?
No.
Who can Keith Thurman beat? You're saying this nigga's the bottom of the food chain.
Let me ask you a question. Black Goose, let me ask you a question, bro. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
And I want you to, I'm gonna ask, when I ask the question, I'm gonna say one person and I'm gonna give out 4 names. Right.
And so Lewis Coleman, he got a question for you too. So Lewis Coleman, I see a question down in the chat. We're gonna ask Dub Right Side this as well. But go ahead. I gotta let him finish with the key slander. We're gonna
is Mario Barrios better than? Is he better than Stan Leonis? Is he better than Butayev? Is he better than Virgil Ortiz? Is he better than Conor Benn? Is Mario Barrios better than any of those 4 individuals I named?
Boxing math does not matter. So we can't go off of is this person better than the other person? This person. We got to go off of when they fought him at the time they fought him. That's what matters. And the reason why I say that is because if you want me to answer the question directly, I'm fine with that. No, Barrios is better than probably, I'll say 65% of the names that you name. No, he's not. But that doesn't matter because we have to talk about the instant.
I named 4 names.
Context matters. If you don't, but wait. I said that to give you the leverage of. I'm not saying someone skill for skill is better than the other because none of that matters because we're talking about boxing. Matchups make fights. So I'm like, just because someone stylistically or someone's skill level wise looks better than the other person, when we're talking about the level that we're talking about, it all comes to styles because styles always incorporates game plans, which incorporates this is how I can take advantage of it because my style is a specific way. So basically what I'm saying is when it comes to Keith Thurman, I always talk about we live in the now. We live in what's happening now. What is Keith Thurman's age? How much older does he is than Errol Spence? How much older he is than Terrence Crawford? Why do we not appreciate what he did in his prime, but we appreciate what Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford are doing now when they're supposed primes, but they're much older than Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman beat these guys in their prime and did amazing things when we're talking about between 25 to 30 years old, really 25 to 29. Earl Smith and Terrence Crawford are doing what they're doing from 30 to now going on to like 37. There's nothing wrong with nothing being a late bloomer. That's cool. But I'm like, why can't we look in retrospect and say, damn, Keith Thurman did amazing things at a very young age, dealt with injuries, but now he's back in the same position. Now he's back literally close to being in the same position, but we're acting as if he's washed. He's not washed. He's literally a year younger than Terrence Crawford and a year older than Earl.
Can I answer? Can I answer?
Accomplish more at a younger age. Like, why do we have to be so of now?
Can I answer the question?
Absolutely.
The reason is in boxing, what we look at, we don't look at And if we want to look at history, that's cool. What we look at is what you've done for me now. We look at your latest fights and how you looked in your comebacks. You know what I mean? That's what we look at. The reason we look at that is because, yeah, when you were doing what you was doing, I'm rocking with you. You feel me? I thought Keith Thurman was the goods back in the day, bro. I thought he was the next coming. Swear to God, I did. The problem was that when he took that time off, you know what I mean? When he had all not just the injuries, the situations going on, and he wasn't in the ring, and then he came back against somebody like Mario Barrios, right? That's the best version, the best version of Keith Thurman I've seen. Or let me rephrase, not the best, the latest version,
yes, the latest, yes,
I've seen. And so I go off of what I've seen lately. The reason I do that is because that's how fluid boxing is. You could be great at Mike Tyson was a knockout artist, bro. He was a knockout artist. And then as time went on and he got in the ring later on in his career, we seen his ass getting touched up and beat the fuck up, bro. And Mike Tyson, he my favorite fighter, bro. Me and Mike Tyson got the same birthday. You feel me? So I rock with my June 30th. I rock with Mike Tyson the long ways.
I think that's a false equivalency though, because we're talking about two different weight classes.
I don't think weight class. I think it's all about what you've done lately. And when I evaluate your performance, your last performance versus anybody else's last performance, that's the only thing I can go off of. I can't go off of what you did 3 years ago. I got to go off of what I've seen recently. That's the only way to be fair in the sport of boxing. If I go off of what I've seen 3 years ago, then damn it, I got to give individuals who are possibly retired now credit and say, "Oh yeah, 3 years ago he was this, and now he's."
That's moving the goalposts. That's moving. The goalposts.
Hold on, before y'all keep going on y'all debate, we got 8 people in here. If y'all ain't liked or subscribe or commented on the video, y'all doing a disservice to us. Please, we giving y'all that good content. I'm all out the screen talking. We giving y'all that good content. My boy Dub, ringside. You feel me? Coming up in here, giving y'all that good debate, man. You feel me? He's going that flu neck about Keith Thurman.
Right side now, right side.
What I say? I said left side.
No, you said ringside, right side.
Damn, my bad. Right side, Dub right side. He corrected me.
Respectfully.
No, you good. I was just letting the people know. See, a couple people hopped out. Man, if y'all ain't here, man, just give us a like, man. Show us some love. We trying to get to the road to 5K subscribers, man. We giving y'all that good. And any of them boxing channels out there want to go at us, y'all come, man. We got the link. Y'all can come in here and get that smoke too, baby. But go ahead and finish your point. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna relay it back to Flu. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. I'm just saying, man. We got to go off of boxing. Is what have you done for me lately? That's what boxing is, and I can only go off of your last fights. Even though you admit you were the goods, Deontay Wilder, bro, and that's the reason I say, hey, I'm nervous about Deontay getting in the ring, bro. I think he wins, but I can only go off of what have you done for me lately, bro. That's the sport of boxing. The sport of boxing is different from any other sport.
And so saying that does negate you saying that he knock out everybody that goes into the ring because he's not fighting Fury. So that's you negating that because it's not like he fought him so long ago. It was recent. It was like within the last 7-8 months or something like that, 9 months. So
go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, so for you saying what's done for me lately, he lost, but I mean, nobody's beating Fury. You saw what he did to Dillian White. That was crazy. But White had no shot.
But this is the thing. When I say what have you done for me lately, I'm looking at your performance, and even in a loss, bro, I'm still seeing you got the firepower there, bro. I'm seeing the firepower against a bigger dude. You know what I mean? Possibly the best heavyweight, right? I hate to say that respectfully. Tyson Fury, he can fight, but I'm not a fan of Tyson Fury. But at the end of the day, bro, Deontay Wilder showed me, bro, he still had that power in that right hand. He showed me that. And so when I'm going off of that fight and I projected to other fights, outside of the punishment he took, he still got, if you can't inflict that punishment, bro, I got to take Deontay Wilder landing that right hand on your chin, bro. That's what I got to take. At the same time, I would say with Keith Thurman, when in his last fight, I watched him fight individual coming up to 47 for the first time, and it being a closer fight than I thought it should be from what I used to see from Keith Thurman. But what I used to see from Keith Thurman ain't the Keith Thurman I see now. And so that's the Keith Thurman I'm gonna rock with now, because that's what he did against Barrios isn't what he used to do.
Only lost to Manny Pacquiao, man. Like, god damn, can we talk about it? Wait.
It's not about who he won or lost against. It's about how
that matters. It does.
It's about how he looked in the fight.
Okay, I agree to that to this day. For the most part, I don't, because I'm like, at the end of the day, y'all pick and choose for the most part. But let me say this. I know W want to respond to this, but Louis Coleman, man, he been waiting for this question. He had this feed. I don't know if Louis Coleman even cared no more, but he had the question. So I wanted to get it. He said, question is, Earl said he would never fight Garcia or Porter because they wouldn't fight him. Didn't he fight Porter then Danny? But won't fight Keith. Straight up sucker move.
Yeah. Hey, no, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. And at the end of the day, EJ said he wasn't gonna fight these guys, but when it came down to it, he fought them. And even now, me personally, I don't think that Bud EJ happening this year. I don't think that fight is happening.
And we on the same page with that. A lot of people coming at me, but I'm like, I'm on the same page with you. I'm like, and everyone's reporting it for November. I don't believe it's happening, bro. I just don't believe it's happening. And so because of that, Errol, your ass better fight Keith, or if you don't fight Keith Thurman, you better move your ass up and fight. Yep, that's the only point.
It's to happen. If you don't do it, that means you got to fight Boots, and you don't want the Boots fight because, in my personal opinion, Boots beat your ass, bro. That's my opinion.
Let me say this, Dub. So I had somebody come at me in the comments. Somebody was like, someone was like, "Yo, chill. Boots doesn't have a chance against Errol Spence, and he'll get knocked out by Ortiz Jr." Someone told me that. In the Ortiz Jr. They said I need to chill because I put it was a short clip. It was like a 15-second video. I said, "Does Boots have a chance against Errol Spence?" And I was just saying, if they fought, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Errol Spence would give him the chance. You know what I'm saying? Even though he criticized Keith Thurman for Keith Thurman not giving Earl the chance at the time, but that's why I always say we got to give Keith Thurman his flowers, because Keith Thurman was only like 27, 28 at that time, and Earl was like 24, 25. I'm like,
the only person that
Earl, you close to
that could beat. The only person that could beat Boots right now, when you factor in age, the speed, his IQ, and all that, is Bud. Bud don't lose to nobody in the division.
Bud and Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman beats
Bud will get his ass dogged by Boots the same way EJ gonna get his ass dogged, respectfully, to both of them.
Oh my God! Hey, did you just?
I'll say that right here.
Did you just sip some cognac, my boy? Because it sounded like you just off the yak when you said that.
First of all,
Hold on. I'm about to get him right now, Flu. I'm about to get on his ass right now. Hold on. How can Boots beat Bud when the boy can go both stands? Boots ain't never seen something like that. He ain't never prepared for orthodox and then switched to a southpaw mid-fight.
See, this
ain't nobody doing that.
This is the problem. Boots is the more natural switch hitter. He's much more natural than Bud is as a switch hitter. Bud.
You crazy.
I can break it down if you want. I know you love Bud. I ain't mad, and I love Bud. I do.
It ain't about love at this point. It's not about love. It's about facts. You was just proving about Gervonta Davis. Hold on. You was just proving about how Gervonta Davis was coming up in weight and he was doing what he was doing. Bud has not came up in weight at 147. Ain't nobody that hit that ass. Everybody done hit that canvas and he had knocked everybody out. You see him to Kell Brook.
Came up and
Kell Brook looked crazy.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I don't want to get in this. This is between y'all. Go ahead.
This is just an opinion, bro. So respectfully, you know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
This is just my opinion. I think Boots is the goods, bro. I think Boots beats Spence. I think Boots beats Bud. I think he beat Virgil Ortiz ass. I think he beat all of them. The reason being is because right now, you know what I mean? Bud, just talking about the Bud fight. If we want to talk about other fights, we can. This is just my opinion on the Bud fight. The problem is Bud isn't a natural switch hitter to me. And when I say a natural switch hitter, I mean that Bud, when he switches to that southpaw stance to put you at a disadvantage. He can't keep you at a disadvantage in the orthodox stance. He gets touched too much. Whereas with Boots, Boots has the advantage in both stances against most opponents. Now, I think it's a difference because Bud is a different level fighter, but at the same time, the power that Boots brings, the speed that he brings, the youth that he brings, I just think that he has Bud number. I think he got EJ number as well. So I think Boots is the goods, bro. And that's me projecting. That's all the way me projecting. I have no facts to back it up. Just to be quite honest, I have no facts to back it up. That's my projection as far as the fight goes. And so that's just, I think Boots is that dude, bro. I think he's that guy. But if I'm wrong, I have no problem being wrong about it. But that's how I see it.
No, I hear what you're saying. I think Boots is a hell of a talent as well. I just think that you have to look at Terrence Crawford beating Gamboa when Gamboa was supposed to be the next Floyd. You forget about that because I remember they were saying Gamboa was supposed to be. He gave that man hell. You feel me? You dungus. Gave that man hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, that man didn't beat Jeff Horn, beat Pacquiao. Horn. He came up there and whooped that boy ass. His first fight at 147. We talking about him just doing things. Jose Benavidez. Jose Benavidez got worked by that man.
You can go to resume. You can go to resume.
Did you see what happened with Danny? Did you see what Danny Garcia did to him?
I did
not knock that man out.
This is the thing. But this is the thing. You can go to resume. The problem is when you do go to resume, the resume is always going to favor these older guys. It's going to favor them because Boots wasn't old. When I'm talking about
Sean Porter's never been knocked out. Who knocked
him
out?
And when he beat Gamboa too, and I'm not trying to go too far, but I'm like, when he beat Gamboa, that was when Gamboa was in his prime.
I'm not disagreeing with anything y'all saying. All I'm saying is there's one thing about talking about resume, right? There's one thing on there. But when I'm talking about this fight, I'm not talking about resume. I'm talking about the eye test and the skill set that I see. And at the end of the day, I got to trust my eye. I got to trust it. And the reason I got to trust that is because the same reason I ride with Devin Haney, I ride with Shakur Stevenson. When these guys were younger, you feel me? I saw the skill set. They didn't have the resume, but I saw the skill set. And so I trust my eye with Boots as well. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think Boots beat both of them dudes, bro. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion.
No, let me interject in this real quick, Zen. My bad. Let me interject this real quick because I see Lewis Coleman. I want to put his. You crazy. Boots hasn't beat nobody. Damn. Let Boots breathe. Excuse me. Let Boots breathe. But Boots beat. What do you say that you are drinking right now? Don't take no offense to that. You know what I'm saying? They're not going crazy. But I'm gonna let you respond. But let me say this real quick.
Hold on. Let me just say this.
You had to go. Go ahead, man. I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead. I know you want this. You want to come at Lewis. You want this shit. Go ahead.
At the end of the day, he went back to resume, and because Boots hadn't had the opportunity to build his resume, I have to use the eye test. So if my eye test is wrong, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just telling y'all what I'm projecting, bro. So it's all projection. If you disagree, I'm not mad at it. Respectfully.
I'm going to your point earlier. Can y'all see that? Yeah. Y'all see what that say?
Yeah,
that's
Sean
what he
Porter,
say. What you want? I just want to show you what
right now.
He just want to say lately. So I ain't going resume. I just showed you the last two fights, and all of those was TKOs. Sean Porter ain't never been knocked out in his whole career.
Talk about
ever. You want to talk about eye test? You can't say he's not a good switch hitter when Earl Spence couldn't even fuck with Sean Porter for real. The whole fight, he was struggling. The whole fight, for that knockdown, he could have potentially lost.
Talk about it.
Am I wrong? About that, Doug? You talking about what you look like, and he was healthy. This is before the car crash. Earl.
But me and you, we're talking about two totally different things right now.
But I'm talking about is what we done for lately. I'm saying lately, Terrence Crawford looked like he's 26, regardless of what his age is.
I'm not mad
at 24.
I'm not mad at what you're saying. What I'm saying is what we're talking about is different. The reason it's different is because when we start to talk about switch hitting, right? And that first thing, so I want to make sure we segment this to make this conversation. So the first thing, let's talk about Bud and Boots first, then we'll talk about EJ and Boots. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm.
You can present it however you want. Go ahead, bro.
I'm just trying to keep it. Make sure I'm presented the right way. That's all I'm trying to do.
Listening, man. We all in, man. You don't understand, man. It's what's today? Wednesday night, 149. Go ahead, brother. Present how you want, man. We listen.
All I'm saying is that I agree, bro. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody stopped Sean Porter like Bud did. I agree with that. You know what I mean? I agree 100%. And even that's why anyways, I don't want to get into Bud and EJ. I'm not getting into that shit. I'm not getting into that because that fight ain't. Anyways, when we're talking about Boots, bro, because of the lack of resume, I have to look at the skill set, and he's a much more natural. And when we talk about or switch hitting, right? Boots he's much more natural in the transitions, letting his hands go from both sides, using the jab from both sides. He's much more natural than Bud is. Now, Bud, I give him credit for being a switch hitter. I give him much credit for it. The thing is normally when Bud switches, he kind of getting his ass, and correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, y'all tell me I'm wrong and give me examples. But normally when he switches to the southpaw stance, he's been getting his ass touched up a little bit in the orthodox stance. He's been getting touched up a little bit. Not nothing crazy, but when he switches, it's to make sure he has the advantage. It's to change the angles to make or even after he's downloaded the information, he understands what his opponent wants to do in the stance. And most of the time his opponent ain't a switch hitter, so they fight from the orthodox stance. He understands what they're trying to do, then he switches to the southpaw stance. After and even when he go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Because I'm like,
I get long-winded.
No, it's not you long-winded. It's just I like what you be saying. It just get to a point where I'm like, all right, you trying to really run away with your point. I'm not gonna let that fly.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I will. Go ahead, Zen. I want Zen to respond. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is, bro, it's just like I hear what you're saying, but at the end of the day, a switch hitter, no matter what's natural, what not. T-Mac looked more natural than Kobe, but was he better than Kobe to you?
No.
You get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. It's not about what's natural. It's something. Fluke could probably throw a more natural jab than somebody, but somebody could have a better jab. That's not about what it looks like sometimes. It's about what it is. Bud has experience. He's gone against various differentiations. He's gone against taller fighters, smaller fighters, same height fighters. He's gone against a various of fighters. So regardless of you telling me Boots got all that, I'm not saying he's not going to give him a good fight. I'm talking about when it comes to certain things, certain rounds, certain adversity, has Boots gone against that to know what he's really capable of? Because some fighters never been put to that test. You feel me? Wilder didn't know what he was capable of until he got put on that back. Then he like, oh, shit. I ain't never been here before. And you see how he responded. He couldn't bounce back.
And the reason why that is a good point, Dub, and you have to put that into consideration is because you have to put into the idea, like there's a possibility that, okay, I did not expect this to go the way it was supposed to. And it's like Boots he has done some amazing things, but it's like, who has he really done it against? I'm not saying I'm disrespecting them, I'm doubting them, but you have to put in resume. If you're going to put into the resume of Keith Thurman and say, oh, he fought Mario Barrios and he came up from 140 to 147 and that's not what he used to fight, how can't you feel the same way about someone when it comes to Boots, where it's like, all right, he hasn't necessarily fought the same competition as the guys that we're talking about, but you're still putting them in the same limelight. I know it comes off of eye test. I know it comes off of what I see. I understand that to the fullest degree. I do. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense for you to acknowledge that, but at the same time, discredit someone like Keith Thurman because it's like, well, you're not what you used to be. Well, why don't we acknowledge what he used to be?
It does, though. So this is the reason it does. Because once again, going off of the eye test, from what I see, right, I ain't never seen Boots in this. And once again, the competition is different. I agree with that, but I still have to. And because matter of fact, because the competition is different, right? Boots can't get the fights that he want right now. He the mandatory, but he can't get the fight with EJ. He asked for the fight against Virgil. He asked for the fight against Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz team said we need 48 months to fight his ass. I'm okay with it. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. All I'm saying is that at some point in time, yeah, resume that does play into it. But for somebody who hasn't had the chance to build a resume, but I see the skill set there. Let me give you an example. Xander Zayas, right? Xander Zayas.
Okay.
I look at him and I'm sitting here like, damn, If he get in the ring with Jamel Charlo, if he get in the ring with him, I'm leaning toward Jamel because of what I seen out of the
You
Castano.
question it?
Yeah,
Nah,
I
that's
am.
not even a question. You're
I'm
crazy. Jamel
See-
whooping that ass. Jamel whooping
You know
that
I'm
ass.
finna clip
sorry.
this. I'm finna clip this right moment, Dub. I'm like, Dub, be careful what you finna say the next time. There ain't no way you finna say Jamel finna struggle with young boy.
y'all so excited.
Nope. I know who you're talking about. That boy get touched up, and he young, he coming up. But I'm like, he ain't got his grown man strength. He finna get a body shot from Jamel. Done. I would bet on that in a heartbeat. I ain't betting a minute. I would bet you crazy if you really think it.
If you want to hear me out, let me go.
Go ahead.
I rock with Xander Zayas, right?
Mm-hmm.
With him being 19 years old right now, I want to see him progress. I wouldn't want to put him in the ring with somebody like Mel. I wouldn't want to.
See, you can't say that then. That's my whole point. You can't even put that in the same conversation.
It's a different. If you would let me finish, I would explain to you where I'm coming from. I'm just trying to explain where I'm coming from. That's it.
Brother. Go ahead.
So the reason I say that is because at 19 years old, there's something I see in you versus what you've dealt with, right? Whereas at 24 years old, I've seen it in you, and now I'm expecting you to put it out there on the canvas. That's what I'm looking for you to do. And so when I look at somebody like Boots, and I think both of these individuals are following kind of the same path. I think Xander Zayev is on the same path as Boots is right now. You feel me?
No.
I think he. Go ahead.
I disagree with that, man. Boots is on a whole different path just because, man, the way I see it, we have to look at weight classes. We have to look at the things, you know. I do, you know, I appreciate Zayas, you know what I'm saying? I really do. He's still young. He's not really in that aspect where I got to put him. Boots is at the point in his career where, especially nowadays, I don't know what the effect's going to be. You know, either you take a chance now or you take a chance later, because that's the thing. Because Dub, I appreciate everything you're saying, but it hurts my heart a little bit that you disrespect so much like the history of the sport. Because I'm like, for you to just look at Keith Thurman and what he did at such a young age, you basically telling me that if I was Boots, I would take the easiest fights all the way until I'm 30, and then I would take a chance. You know what I'm saying?
I've never said that. I've never said that. And
I know you. I'm not saying you did. Wait, let me finish. Because I ain't said. I know you didn't say that, but I'm like, how it's looking is like the way you saying, like, I'm looking at what have you done for me lately. I don't think that's a fair way to look at shit or assess shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you have to, at the very least, appreciate what the fighter has done to be at the point and to be able to represent himself and do what he did. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he didn't get to the point where he can take this fight and have this fight and us all talk about it just because he did that just on the merit of nothing. I'm like, to me personally, I'm like, that's a little disrespectful. You feel me? But I could be looking at it the wrong way. You know?
The reason you feel disrespected by it is because you look at Keith Thurman, and I'm not high on Keith Thurman.
That doesn't make sense though. I'm like,
but no.
How are you high on Earl Spence Jr. but not high on Keith Thurman? They've all had the same wins, other than Kell Brook.
The reason I'm not high on Keith Thurman, but I'm higher on Errol Spence. I'm higher on Boots Ennis. I'm higher on, and I want to break all of these fighters down. Bud Crawford as well. I want to tell you why I'm higher on them than I am. I want to tell you why. So when I look at them and what they've done for me lately, right? That's what I always talk about. But if you like, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, my bad. You going that last minute shit. I do appreciate it, but I'm like, man, how you gonna say what have you done for me lately? But at the same time, I'm gonna name all these fighters that this fighter I appreciate fight.
Let's do this. Go ahead. No, go ahead. My bad. I apologize.
No, you good, Dub. Like I see Zen. Go ahead, Dub. Go ahead. Drop. I want you to drop your statement, come at me, and then I'm gonna go to Lewis Coleman comment, and I'm gonna let Zen say something.
No, y'all. So y'all go ahead. I don't wanna take over the channel, bro. Like I'll do that. I'll do
Bro,
that. Don't want to do that.
you're good. I'm telling you, I want you to drop your last comment, and then I want to go to Lewis Coleman comment. And I'm gonna let Zen respond. Go ahead.
My. So what's the question? And the reason I ask, because if you want to give me all three questions, I'll talk.
Nigga, not all three. Nigga, you supposed to be finishing your last statement.
My last statement is this, man.
Go.
When I look at Boots, when I look at Bud, when I look at Arrow,
Okay.
I can go off of what you've done for me lately. When I look at Keith Thurman, I can go off of what you've done for me lately, but everything they've done is different from what he's done.
Okay.
That's my response.
I can respect that. So I want to do so I'm gonna go to Lewis Coleman. Let's see Boots step up, then we can talk. Zen, you got a response? You want to come to the comments? Or you want to come to the Dub Right side? Go ahead. Anything you want to say? Oh, I think you're on mute, nigga.
I don't think that was something I should respond to. I think that was just something I just
want to make sure. I want to see if you had anything. Lewis Coleman want to say, when you step up, the KO stop. Look at Earl stopping everyone. Then he runs into better competition, and it stops Porter and Danny. Ugas is a doorknob. Everyone has had their turn beating them. That's crucial.
Yeah, that's cold-blooded.
Either Zen or Dub, y'all want to respond to that, to Lewis Coleman. Appreciate you, Lewis, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I know you're a long time Black Goose family member.
I already told you that Earl can't
great
fuck
points.
with Bud.
You're making great points,
Lewis.
Lewis. It's like you making my points out of my head. Go ahead.
I already told you, dog. I'm like, Earl ain't stopped nobody, but they all say he got more power than Terrence. How do he got more power than Terrence Crawford and he can't knock nobody out?
I think
he ain't knocked nobody out in like 6 years, 5 years.
Power isn't about knocking out anybody. That's not what power is.
What you mean? That's what all the fans say. He's got so much power. His power is ridiculous. He's from Texas. That's that Texas boy.
The body.
That nigga from Nebraska got them hands. He knocking these niggas out. All skill.
Nebraska, nigga.
So when we talk about respectfully, when we talk about power isn't about knockouts. The reason being is because when we look at Bud knockouts aren't from actual KOs, they're TKOs. He overwhelms the opponent. That's what he does. He overwhelms the individual. When we talk about power, right? I would much rather be overwhelmed and caught with some shit where he can close me out versus having bones broke in my body. When you start having bones broken in your body, that's a whole nother type of power. And so at the end of the day, Errol Spence, and once again, I want to put this out here, and this is for Zen. I want to make sure I say my bad, bro. What should say your name again for me, bro? Respect. Zen?
Yeah, he was right.
Respect. I apologize, man. No disrespect whatsoever. Much love to you, brother. Much love to you. And man, EJ gonna hurt his ass, bro. EJ gonna beat the dog shit out of him. The reason he gonna do it is because EJ, he ain't got that stop. He ain't got that stoppage power. I agree with it. What he got is he got the bone breaking power. It's a different type of power, bro. And so he may not. Hey, bro, let me just say this last thing. The reason Bud is so dangerous is because he's a sniper. When you have, and one thing Bud has over EJ is accuracy, bro. When you have that accuracy and you can put some shit on somebody, you know what I'm saying, put it on their chin that hurt their ass, you feel me, because of your accuracy. And that's what Bud got. Go ahead. My bad.
You can't say this man got bone breaking power and this nigga ain't broke nobody bones.
Who ain't?
No,
nigga, he only what he hurt.
Stop right. Zen, I want you to repeat what you said in response to Dub, because Dub, he had, you know what I'm saying, respond, you know what I'm saying, he said what he said. So I want you to very clear. Go ahead.
He's saying that it's a different type of power. Terrence Crawford's overwhelming his opponents, and Bud and Earl is bone breaking power. He hasn't hurt not nobody in his last fights. I guess you could say Ugas, but I don't know. Ugas didn't look good to me, so I'm not gonna count him. But against Danny, against Sean, against Mikey. How can he not knock out Mikey Garcia? And the man is 5'5".
Wait a minute. I gotta ask a question. So he broke Ugas, he broke his eye socket, he broke his ribs, and then you said he don't have bone breaking power. So break that down for me. If he did that against Ugas, right? The same individual.
I just told you that I'm not gonna count that fight. Ugas looks trash that fight.
Count that fight. That was a title fight.
Okay, that's one fight out of how many fights? How come he didn't do that to Mikey Garcia? Why didn't he do that to Mikey Garcia? And he came up 2 divisions. I just want to know that. Mikey Garcia is 5'5", and Mikey Garcia was not hurt none of the fight. There's not one point in the fight that Mikey went down and he looked scared. He just was smaller. He just couldn't hit him. Just couldn't touch him. That's all he couldn't do.
Can I respond to that? And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But did Mikey Garcia not come out and say, when you fight Earl Spence, it's a life-changing event? Oh, he didn't say life-changing event. What did he say? It takes time off of your career. That's what he said. Did he not say that?
The man came up 2 weight classes. I hope it would.
See, you want to change the conversation. You want to talk about coming up weight classes, but then you want to tell me
that matters. You just made a point about thinking on it.
I'm going to ask the question again because clearly you don't want to answer the question.
Hold on.
My bad, bro.
Between two. Y'all getting real.
No.
I know, but y'all having a great debate, and I'm loving it. I know that everybody that's in here right now, they're enjoying it.
I want to apologize, bro. If I seem aggressive, whatever I seem,
nigga, I know you know the BlakGooseTV. We don't give nigga come in here and say all this shit.
You talk, good, bro. Nobody's tripping. I'm just saying you're trying to make it seem like Earl got this brutal
I gotta
power.
Stop you real quick, Zen. I gotta stop you real quick too. It don't got nothing but no one saying. I just want to people in the comments. I'm saying, let's give them an acknowledgement. Then we're gonna let y'all go. Okay, real quick. All right, we're gonna get through this. Lewis Coleman, laugh out loud. It's Snipers is in the building. Salute to It's Sniper. He said I was just listening. A long time Black Goose family member. I was on the Spence side, but just looking it over, Bud will be too much for Spence. And by the way, It's Sniper, the right side. You may not know. It's not a different nigga, but It's Sniper got he said all I had to say, peace. I'm working right now, just listening to the podcast. Mikey just has to respect the opponent. Though he's not gonna say he's trash. So I just wanted to go through that joint. My bad, y'all. I know I kind of messed up.
I'm just saying, man, you trying to disrespect Bud like his power.
No, not trying.
Clearly, he could have knocked out all those dudes. They're taking those for a reason. He's not knocking them out because they're not letting him knock them out. You don't think Sean Porter couldn't have got knocked out? His daddy stopped that fight. You don't think he couldn't have knocked out Jose Benavidez? The ref stopped that fight. They stopped it for a reason because he was going to hurt them, all those people, into a coma. He was beating their ass crazy with power.
I have no problem with what you're saying, bro. I have no problem.
But my point is to that, why couldn't he do that to Sean Porter? Why didn't he not hurt Sean Porter? He got him in the 12th round, cool. But that's just because Sean Porter over lunged and he got caught with something. It wasn't because he felt super power. You feel me? He felt more damage out that Bud fight than he did the Spence fight. But you're saying he has bone breaking power. He didn't break no bones on that man. I didn't see Sean Porter's daddy say, hey, no more. He thought he was going to win the fight till that happened.
Can I respond to it?
Yeah, you got it.
So, and I don't even want to talk about that fight because I give Bud all the credit for stopping Sean Porter. But
you gotta respond to that though, Dove. Come on.
But I gotta respond to it. Now I gotta respond to it. Yeah. And the problem is if you go back and listen to what Sean Porter's father said, he said that he planned to stop the shit anyways because he didn't think his son trained the right way. That's what he said, bro. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent, and I'm still giving Bud the stoppage. I give Bud the stoppage. All I'm saying is, according to Sean Porter's father, he said because of the way Sean Porter trained, he didn't think Sean was ready for the fight, and he had planned to stop the shit anyways, bro. That's what he said. I'm not saying it. And so all I'm saying is this: when it comes down to it, when we look at Bud Crawford, and shut up, And I hate to talk about this shit because it sounds like I'm a Bud hater, bro. That's what it sounds like. I love Bud Crawford, bro. I love Bud. Bud is one of my top. I got Bud pound for pound #1 right now, bro. Like I love Bud Crawford. But when we talking about the sport, bro, at the end of the day, the reason that fight was stopped is because Sean Porter's father, he threw the towel in, and what he say? My son didn't train right. He said he was gonna retire after this. He said all type of crazy shit. Am I lying about that? Yes or no?
If you're gonna make these excuses for him not training, then you can't say nothing about Keith Thurman.
Answer the question the same way I answer your questions. Am I lying about what I'm saying?
Regardless if you lying or not, that doesn't mean nothing. You got your ass in that ring. If he didn't train properly, he should have postponed the fight like AB did.
Wait, real quick. Let me interject. Dub, Zen, go ahead. I need give him a straight answer.
Answer the question, bro.
Wait, Dub. Huh?
My bad, bro. My bad.
Give him the straight answer and then continue on with your point, regardless of what it is.
He said that. Let's say he said that. He said that. I didn't hear him say that, but let's say he said that. Now what? What's your response?
It's on me.
Yeah, you said. Did he say that? I said.
Finish your shit. All I asked is did he say that he didn't feel his son trained the right way? He felt like that he was gonna throw the towel in anyways. Did he not say that about that fight? That's all I'm asking. Yes or no?
I don't remember him saying that. That's what I'm telling you. I'm saying, but say if he did say that, then what?
Okay, here, go ahead.
Then it means that the fight could have continued and it could have been a 12-round fight if he didn't feel that way. And even when he stopped the fight, Sean Porter was pissed he stopped the fight. I'm not saying that Bud wouldn't have stopped him. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that he stopped the fight too early and we don't know. And so that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
It's just crazy because you just said you want to protect Wilder's career, but his daddy just did the same thing, regardless if he trained or not. That's all he did. So you're saying he wouldn't have stopped him? He was going to put that man out. I don't know if you watched the fight. I was watching. He was putting them together. Boom, 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 boom. Shy head was looking like a basketball on a concrete. He was out there delirious. So we talking about saving the fighter, regardless if he trained or not.
Now we'll move to the point I was making, and we were talking about their last fights when we saw Ugas getting bones broke in his face. You know what I'm saying? Ribs broke versus Errol Spence. That's all I'm saying. In one fight, we saw an individual stop the shit too early, which we don't know what we could have seen. Whereas we saw bones being broken against Ugas, you know what I mean? The same person that Bud was trying to fight. I don't know why he didn't sign that fight with Manny Pacquiao. When Bomac told him not to sign the shit, he should have signed it and made that fight happen. I don't know why it happened that way. I'm not gonna criticize him.
I don't want to interject at all, but on that, come on, you know why? You seen you see the whole criminal history going on behind MTK Global, like that's why he didn't sign.
Pacquiao had what did Manny Pacquiao have to do with MTK Global?
Pacquiao had nothing to do with that, but apparently Bomac and his team. That's also why Jamal Herring had a beef with his camp. I'm just telling you, that's the real facts. All right, I'm done.
Say that one more time. Just say that one more time.
I'm just telling you that. No, that's the real facts. Anybody who wants to say MTK Global had nothing to do with Terrence, I'm not saying he had anything directly to do, but apparently there was some type of ties when it came to him and Bomac.
Going on
and
there.
Jamal Herring did not. They had a apparent beef because Jamal Herring didn't want to have nothing to do with MTK Global. Bomac had a problem with that. They didn't, anyways.
This is the problem. But this is the problem. When I start talking this way, people feel like I'm trying to shit on Bud, and I'm not trying to shit on Bud at all,
they
bro.
don't understand that aspect. Zen understands that. They don't understand that aspect.
On the aspect that you're trying to make something so pivotal for Errol Spence, but let me ask you a question now. Is Ugas better than Sean Porter? Hold on. Is Ugas better than Sean Porter?
Is who?
Is Ugas better than Sean Porter?
They're equal. I think they're equal.
Oh, that's so disrespectful. Ugas is not going to no Hall of Fame. You're crazy out your mind. You're crazy out your mind.
Pacquiao.
You know why he beat Pacquiao. We already told you Styles makes fights. Pacquiao went in there.
Put the mic a little bit up there a little bit.
who has Sean Porter beat better than Pacquiao? You tell, or equal to Pacquiao? Equal to Pacquiao? You tell me.
It's not about that. What did Pacquiao do after his fight? He retired. He was gonna lose. He was gonna retire after that fight anyway. And if you watch the fight, you could tell. Hold on, no, I can change it because it matters. If you're going into a fight, a week in or 2 weeks in, and then your opponent changes, your whole game plan to that fighter changes. Does Spence fight like Ugas? No, he does not. So he went in there with a whole different fighter to fight, and he got pieced up off that jab. You know, Earl Spence does not use his jab just like that. He's more of a defensive counter puncher. He works more of his defense.
When Bud Crawford was coming up, he had an opportunity to fight Ugas. Why he didn't fight Ugas? Even though Ugas beat his ass twice, I believe, in the amateurs. Why Bud Crawford, when he was coming up from 40, why he didn't take the Ugas? Why he didn't go after Ugas, bro?
Would it be bad if I said something? That I gotta leave it alone?
No, you good, bro. You good.
All right, I don't want to be too much into this conversation, but
and I don't want to do this either. I don't want to do this.
No, Doug Right Side, you know you can't ask that question because that's a promotional problem. That's not a fighter problem.
It's always a promotional problem, but
don't bring it up like you're trying to be tricky. Like don't be tricky. Like okay, let's see if he like that's being tricky. I'm like, what's the side you want to keep on? Do you just want to talk about the fighters, their abilities, who's better than each other? But I'm like, if you're gonna ask a question that's based off of whether or not this can happen, but you know the only way it can happen, it has to be based off of the promotional companies are willing to make a deal work.
Not true.
Okay, explain why.
The reason it's not true is because, and correct me if I'm wrong. Bud Crawford was undisputed at 40, right?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So, and I've seen the interview where I ain't gonna talk about that. When he moved up, he had the opportunity to fight certain individuals. You know what I'm saying? Coming into the 47 division, he had the opportunity to fight Ugas before. You know what I'm saying? Spence fought Ugas before Pacquiao fought Ugas. Bud had the opportunity. Why did he fight Ugas then?
Wait, how would he have that opportunity if Pacquiao wasn't even with Bob Earl?
It was about because he's undisputed, right? He had the belts.
No, because you're moving the goalposts. Wait. You can't at the same time argue, hey, I understand there's the powers that be that control the system, that control what dictates this happens and this happens, but then be like, well, at the same time, the worker, the person who's told what you have to do at this particular date, if you don't decide that you want to talk to this person at this particular time, it's on you. Like that doesn't make any sense. Or you got to fight this person. Like, I'm confused. I'm like, who's the controller? You know what I'm saying?
Bomet was on. He was on the panel. You know what I mean? And Bomet said, we took this route. We took the Jeff Horn route because it was
because of MTK Global. Like why? I'm not trying. Like allegedly, I don't know if anything is just real, but I'm like, let's be real. If we really look at the game plan, and everything that was spread out, and in the fights that happened, it aligns with the fact that there was some type of association with that.
I'm working so hard to protect this man.
I'm a Terrence Crawford fan. Like Zen.
I'm
not one of the biggest Terrence Crawford fans. I'm just always real. I'm the same with Demetrius Andrade. I used to love Boo Boo. And 2-3 years ago, when I was like, I wasn't the old nigga to no one. I was a young nigga to everybody. But back then, I was like, I remember I was when I was really training with my coach, he was like, I don't have no sympathy or empathy for Demetrius Andrade. It's like he's a great fighter, but he made terrible business decisions. And like as you get older, you realize like
did Bud make terrible business decisions then?
No, because he was making money. At the time, no one else was. He's been making millions of dollars
since 2014.
Talk about it, because I'm like, nigga, you can go back to my early videos. I've been making videos saying like, all y'all been crazy, like talking about Terrence Crawford and Bud. He ain't did the right shit. Like this nigga was making millions. He wasn't even selling pay-per-views. It was TV. He's always been on free TV, making millions since he signed with Bob. But he signed with Bob. It's terrible. Like what? Like,
no, hey, listen. I'll say this. I always say that at the end of the day, And I want to give if you don't mind, I want to give an example. And you know, Goose, you know, I'm a Devin Haney fan. And so I always say, man, when it's time to make the right moves, you make the right moves. We've seen Dev make the right move to become undisputed. We've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Terrence Bud Crawford, he was able to become undisputed at 40, bro. Respect to him for it.
Yeah.
I got love for him, and it's crazy because when I start to talk about the shit, then at the end of the day, some type of way I end up being a Bud hater in a lot of people's minds. I don't quite understand it, but that's what people tell me.
We'll talk about it. Let me know why. Let me try to figure it out. Because right now you seem reasonable, but it's probably gonna. Let me hear it. You know what I'm saying?
All I'm saying is when he re-signed the second time, the biggest fights weren't over there. You know what I mean, for him to make, and the fights that were over there, he didn't make. He had opportunity when Go ahead, bro.
No, I'm asking you like what's the biggest fights that
he had the opportunity to make the Manny Pacquiao fight.
What?
That fight was there for him, and
you know who Manny Pacquiao was signed to at the time?
Who?
The Zone.
It doesn't matter because the reason it doesn't matter. Can I tell you why it doesn't matter?
Talk about it.
The contract was there. Manny Pacquiao signed the contract, and not even Bud. Bomac said don't sign the contract. He told Bud not to sign the contract, and Bud didn't sign the contract.
So I'm like, I don't understand. It's like you agreeing with me, but it's like you saying something different. It's like, nigga, did I not just tell you? Like, MTK Global, are we not talking about the Tyson Fury can't come into the States because of this?
If
there's ties that had nothing to do with the fighters, well, they don't know how deep that shit goes, or maybe they do. I don't know what the case is. I'm not implementing anything. I'm not putting anything on anything. But in my opinion, I'm like, if there's ties going on beyond your control, and you just fighting fights, I'm like, I'm not gonna put that on the fighters. At this point, the way I see it is like he got his money. Terrence Crawford got his money. It's like when people talk about bad business deals, is because we're looking at it from the sense of, oh, you didn't accomplish something or you didn't win all these belts, as if we give a fuck about that. Really, what we cherish is people. At the end of the day, is money.
No.
Yes, we do, man. Why are we lying, man?
As a boxing fan, when I say a bad deal, and I'm not mad at the deal that he signed or whatever he did. I'm not mad at it. What I'm saying is at the end of the day, I'm looking for the best fighting the best. Okay. The same way that if Devin Haney, and I go back to Dev because that's the nigga. When he started to fuck up, bro, I'm gonna be critical of him. If he starts to fuck up and he got an opportunity to fight Tank, and he don't go over to the PBC after he gets out of the deal with
I gotta stop you right here, and we're gonna have a lot of interruptions right here, but I'm like, you can't. How you gonna tell a young dude like Devin Haney, who already signed one of the biggest deals with his own, beat all the dudes, now he fought a one lopsided deal with Top Rank, and you saying after he completes that, he has to go to PBC?
I'm not saying he has.
Wait. But Javonte's been with TMT his entire career. How is it? Like what? Like why are you putting so much pressure on Haney?
This is the greatest part about what you just said. I'm critical of Tank Davis because Tank should have took his ass over and made a 2-fight deal with Top Rank to make the big fights happen, bro.
Talk about that. That's what I want to hear, Dub.
These fighters. I'm critical of any fighter that isn't going and trying to make the big fights happen.
But I'm saying be fair. You
can't say that though, because you would say Floyd Mayweather is the greatest of all time, but he didn't make all the greatest fights happen when they wanted to happen. He made it when the money was there and when his career and his buzz was at the top of his peak. That's facts.
I wouldn't say that.
What you mean? He fought Oscar De La Hoya at the end of his career. He fought.
I don't think Floyd is the greatest of all. I don't think Floyd is the greatest of all time.
That's what I'm about. Little man. Yes, he is. We talking about under 154. Yes, he is. Nobody's better than him.
In your opinion.
How is he not? What hasn't he accomplished? What hasn't he done? He's a 5-division champ.
No, I love Floyd. I think Floyd is a hell of a fighter, but I don't think he's the great. I'm just when we talking about
Just
great.
changed my mind. Actually, I agree with you.
When we
I
talking
was
about
about to say AB. I was like, oh yeah, Floyd is the best.
Yeah,
When we
Floyd's
talk
the
about
best.
little
Who's better than him? Hold on.
I'm like, Dub, you can't disrespect. He specified it. He talked about the little men.
I said the little man
like,
under
he
154.
talk about
He's the best.
You know, in totality. But when he talked about the weight class, I was like,
Floyd's
right,
the best. Nobody can do what he's done.
If you're talking about the weight class,
his resume is impeccable.
He's right.
It's impeccable. There's nobody that he did not fight. He fought Pacquiao. He fought Oscar. He fought Sugar Shane. He fought Miguel Cotto. He fought Guerrero. He fought.
And his weight class, like not considering every weight class, but you know his weight class and smaller is like it is Floyd. In our era, Dub, you gonna counter that?
No, yeah, I'm not. Y'all got it. Y'all got.
When we specified it, we got to do that, huh? It's like when we specify, it's like because now I was on your side too, Dub. I was like, nah, Zen tripping. I'm like, nigga. But then when he specified, he was like, no, when we talk about the weight class and none of this, I was like, okay, yeah.
If I can argue the shit, if I can argue it, I'm gonna argue it. But I can't argue. I'm not in position to argue that. I'm not.
I'm on the same thing. I'm like, but real quick, I want to get to the comments real quick. Lewis Coleman. Ugas beat Pac because Thurman messed up Pac real bad. He left the presser. He went to the hospital. After the Thurman fight, I ordered that fight. Pac couldn't talk right. Thurman took whatever Pac had left. I completely agree with you. A lot of people don't remember how that fight went. Pacquiao was in
Pacquiao gassed after the sixth round. He gassed
that
like
boy
Canelo
was
did.
hurt in the 10th, 11th, 12th. If you're not biased and if you're not in your feelings, you would see that. Please rewatch that fight. Actually, you know what? I think this is going to be something I'm going to put on Dub Right Side. Let's see how you can hold up to your word. I would love to do a rewatch party. And, you know what I'm saying? We all just watched Thurman versus Pacquiao again.
I mean, that was a close ass fight, bro. It was a close, even with Thurman getting knocked
back. It definitely wasn't. Thurman won by at least 4 rounds.
Okay. Let's watch it. Whenever you want to watch it back, shoot me the message, bro, and I'll jump on and watch it with you. We'll score it and we'll talk about it.
All right. Sniper said, didn't Ugas lose to Porter? He did. But I will argue this for Ugas. A lot of people thought Ugas beat Porter, so I will argue that. Argue that. Lewis Coleman said, "Boo career is done. Terrible decisions." I love Boo. And see, that's the thing. A lot of people, y'all can't say I'm biased because Boo Zen, though, if y'all don't want to believe me, y'all got to go all the way back to my beginning videos. But Zen, though, Boo Andrade is one of my favorite fighters for a very long time.
Boo the coldest, man. He a boogeyman for the reason. You see Billy Joe Sanders had to juice up for that man.
And that's the thing. People don't understand. Boo was supposed to level up against Billy Joe Saunders, and Joe Saunders got popped. So that really derailed his whole entire career. But a lot of people say it's bad decision moves on Andrade because if that's your only saving grace, that's on you because you signed with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn he wasn't able to line you up with any American fighters, but it's like when you look at the American fighters, like Jermell Charlo hasn't really fought no one. David Benavidez Jr. hasn't really fought nobody.
Talk about it, Flu. Talk about it, Flu.
We're just biased. It is what it is. A lot of times us as boxing fans, we want to act like we're paying attention to boxing, but we're really not. It's like we're only paying attention to boxing what fits our criteria. But there's boxing going in U.S., UK, Russia, everywhere. So
can I ask y'all a question real quick, bro?
Yeah, go ahead, hit me with it.
Did I ask y'all? I might have asked y'all this earlier. I think I asked somebody. I was on another panel earlier. I don't know if I asked y'all. Boo Boo, he just dropped the WBO belt against Janabek, right?
So don't ever disrespect Demetrius Andrade. He never had. As much as I love the WBA is a beautiful belt.
Let me hold on. Let me just ask the question. Let me just ask the question.
So Demetrius Andrade is one of my favorite fighters, so I'm gonna be like that. Go ahead.
No, I ain't mad at it. So
I'm in my bias.
He dropped the belt, and Janabek got elevated to the champion. Correct?
No, Janabek is not elevated to the champion.
He got to fight to be the champ. Okay, he got to fight to be the champ.
He still has to fight.
Estrada just dropped the belt, and I know this is Franco, he got elevated to the champion, correct?
Yes. Yes. But he'll
It-
still have to fight. Technically, when you get
No.
elevated to the champion, it doesn't. Yeah, you get elevated, but it's like, well, you still got to fight this guy I'm put in front of you.
So is Franco is he an email champion?
I don't believe in any of that. I think everything is put together for a reason. This is why I want to do say and specifics, and no, actually, it doesn't answer your question at all. No, actually, let me answer this. He's not an email champion. That's what it is. That's how it goes, especially when it talks about a lot of things being misplaced. But a lot of things are misplaced for a reason. A lot of things are misplaced because you think, oh, okay, we see this person's moving up, this person's injured. Okay. No, everything is orchestrated. When you talk about Demetrius Andrade, this is an argument I was going to use, but I don't give a fuck because nobody can combat this because people don't give a fuck about Demetrius Andrade. Like, do you understand he was supposed to fight Zach Parker? Does no one remember that?
Who do you think is a better fighter? You know what I mean, Zach Parker or Janibek?
I think right now Janibek, but I only think that because I feel like I have more knowledge of him because he's been more promoted in the U.S.
Why Boo Boo didn't just go ahead and beat Janibek then?
Do you know who's the bigger fighter?
Bigger fighter as far as what goes? When you say bigger fighter,
weight class.
Yeah, Zach Parker's the bigger fighter.
So, do you know who had more KOs in their career?
I'm not talking about KOs. I'm talking about.
Do you know who was a younger fighter?
I'm talking about better skills.
Wait. Do you know he was younger?
But you bringing up you bringing up irrelevant topics right now. I'm talking about who's the better fighter.
Zach Parker.
Man, ain't no. Janibek is a much better. He has better footwork than damn Zach Parker. Go ahead, bro.
I agree with you, but you're saying as of now, oh, he looks better skill wise. Is that excuse me, Janibek? He was a smaller fighter. Zach Parker is a natural 168er, never lost, undefeated, bigger fighter, knockout power, and younger. Why would I go against him to go for the smaller fighter who's never fought at the same weight class? We're talking about Demetrius Andrade was willing to fight that.
So, if you fight Zach Parker, do you get a belt?
Yes. You were going to get the WBO Intercontinental. Yes. You got a belt. They were fighting for a belt.
What belt do you get, bro?
You got the WBO Intercontinental. I can pull it up. I promise.
The WBO Intercontinental belt is not.
You were going to end up being the mandatory for the if Canelo beat Bivol, you would be mandatory for that fight. If he beat Zach Parker, he would have been mandatory for Canelo at the WBO.
All right. Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, look, I ain't going to lie to you. I want
to. That's one thing I won't get wrong. I love that motherfucker. I was like, that's one thing I will not get wrong.
I want to keep rocking right now, but it's 2:00 where I'm at. So I got to jump off, but definitely I'm jumping back on this motherfucker next time you live because we got to chop it up about this shit, bro. We definitely.
Right, I didn't even see that. God damn, it's late, the motherfucker. So I'm like, hey, you right.
Zan, man, my brother, appreciate you, bro. Much love to you. You feel me? Goose, you know I'm always rocking with you, man. I love anytime I can get on the panel, and we done kept it respectful, and we done kept it boxing, bro. And so anytime I can get up here and do that, man, I got a lot of love for y'all brothers, man. Much love, and definitely, man, I'm rocking with y'all next time I get a chance, man. Definitely.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you, Doug. For real, man.
Hey, man, y'all the family.
Speaking for real.
If it wasn't damn 2:00 over here, bro, and I got to get up in the morning.
Bro, I didn't even realize until you said something like, damn, it's 1 where I'm at. I'm like, nigga, I need to get some sleep. I got to be up for work, nigga.
I got to work. But, man, much love to y'all, man. I appreciate
absolutely, bro.
Man, y'all just don't know how much respect I got for y'all, and y'all keep it boxing. Y'all talking that good boxing talk, and we can argue with each other about boxing. It don't get personal.
I love that's all it is.
The way it get personal, and niggas want to call y'all type of out your name. You know what I'm saying? And y'all ain't do none of that, and I appreciate it, man. I do. Much love to y'all, man. Much love. But I'm out for the night. Salute to y'all, man. Salute to the chat, everybody who came through. Make sure y'all smash the like button, man. Damn. Show some love.
5K, man, subscription, and you know what I'm
Show
saying?
some
Subscribe to the
love,
channel,
man.
man. I know Lewis up in here, man. Salute to you, Coleman, man, for real. Yeah, you gonna get that word next time. Hey, you got coming, yeah, Lewis Coleman, man. He coming, he went to smoke, dub. Come through this weekend, man. Well, I don't know. There ain't no fights this weekend, but next weekend we gonna be
No,
lit.
fight, man. Big baby, Jerry, Big Baby Anderson in the ring this weekend. We got Pedraza versus in the. That ain't gonna. Damn,
I know. I'm gonna watch the what's happening this Friday. What I just talking about? Zen. What fight is that? I can't remember.
DJ.
Who?
Demetrius, nigga.
Oh yeah, Demetrius. Okay, I'm on the MMA side of the game. Yeah, I gotta watch the Demetrius Johnson fight.
I don't know shit about. I don't know shit about MMA, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Dub, I know. Last time you was there, I know. But we gotta get to Hey, Dub, I appreciate you. We're just gonna end the whole thing right here, Dub. I appreciate you, Zen. You ain't here. You want any last words to the people, man, before we get up out of here for the night? None. Salute the people. Hey, the Fluenceboxing was lit, nigga. I had a good time. Anything you want to say, Dub?
Man, much love to y'all, brothers, man. Hey, real quick, Goose, man, I got to get you on the show, bro. So if y'all don't know, man, we got Dub Right Side, rocking with Right Side, man. Y'all go sub to the channel. We got to have you on the show. We got to have you on the show. And the show, I want to let everybody know, man, it's not just content creators, it's everybody who rock with the sport of boxing. If you want to jump on, we want to feature you on the show, get to know you better, and just, man, trying to blend the family, man. You know what I mean? Let everybody know who everybody is when you're talking to individuals in the chat, man. That's what the show is about, man. Rocking with Right Side. And if y'all get a chance, man, come over and, man, show some love, man. Much love to you, bro. And I need you on the show, bro. I gotta get you on.
Get there. For real. I gotta get my shit together. I gotta get the collaborations, man. I'm not doing good with my schedule, but I'm gonna change that up.
So I'm going into I ain't gonna lie, I'm a new channel. And so I got 5
episodes. I don't care about none of that. I'm gonna get over there. It's like
well, no,
hey, this weekend, let's get popping.
No, we can't do it this week. So I got 5 episodes so far, and usually I do Rocking with Right Side Monday and Tuesday. Mondays and Tuesdays. You know what I mean? So, but no, I'm filled up right now. I'm coming out with my let me see, I'm filled up through September. I'm coming out with my October, November schedule. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot you an email, and I give you my dates that I have available. And man, you know, hey, we trying to do it big over there, man. And when I say do it big, not necessarily get as far as the content go, man. Just trying to get individuals on and talk the sport of boxing, man. That's what I love, and love having different mindsets on the panel with me. And man, just appreciate you for allowing me to rock with you, man. Like, it means a lot to me, bro. It means a lot to me.
Salute. I appreciate you, Dub. For real. Let me know, send that thing through. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We're gonna figure out a time. You know what I'm saying?
That's the bet, bro. That's the bet, man. Much love to y'all fellas, and I'm out for the night, man.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, any last words you want to say to people? Me and Zen, you know how it is. Zen, appreciate you, you know what I'm saying? Giving the good wisdom to the people he was in here debating. Some great knowledge to the people. It was ready. It's like, damn, this nigga coming in. The knowledge. But anything you want to say to people before we get up out of here, man?
Good. All
right, we up out of here, man. Appreciate everybody. What's day? Wednesday? I'm excited. I took Friday off, so I'm gonna have Friday off. So tomorrow I'm gonna have a long weekend. So y'all be ready. I'm gonna hit y'all with the content because I had to take a little hiatus. But I love y'all. Appreciate y'all, BlakGooseTV family, man. We out here, man. Keep moving, keep growing, keep saluting. I didn't know it was 1:14 in the morning. It's crazy. It's late, motherfucker. But much love to people. We out of here.